Welcome to the first ever episode of Fighting Words, the midweek show here on Capcom Fighters, where we take a look at everything Street Fighter V. Of course, we are going to be catching up and rallying up with the Pro Tour, which is now officially underway. How does that, it feels sick to be able to say that the Pro Tour is officially started.
I loved it. I realized I'm a pretty evil person because I just enjoyed seeing the torment and the drama that those guys must have been going through. But amazing, the Pro Tour's bad.
Yeah, this only one, the winner takes all is brutal, and you know we're gonna.
No, but second place gets like a better seeding for the next. Oh no, they get nothing.
Yeah, love it. It is a very brutal format, but I'm glad that we have competitive games with something on the line now. Of course, the place at Capcom Cup is up for grabs. 18 events, one down. The first name is on the list next to Idom, the champ, and it is Phenom, who won EU East and Middle East. So on the show, as you can see, we're going to be going through a variety of different subjects. Of course, we're going to be talking about the EU East, Middle East event that happened this past weekend. We're going to be looking ahead as well, because the weekend coming, it's NA East, and
it never stops, does it? I mean, you guys are
potentially
really
the champ's going to be involved in that as well. One of the
I hope so.
We'll talk about that later on in the show. There's been some really cool events happening as well around the world. We're going to always shine some light on some of the great community events and some of the cool Street Fighter things that are going on out there, as well as just general discussion between me and you about what we think of the state of Street Fighter V, and you know, some friendly debates, perhaps. It's called Fighting Words for a reason. This is just all the stuff that
ain't no friends involved when it comes to being right. I gotta be right. I'm the F-Meister, baby. No, but seriously, there's a side of the Flogan combination that you guys probably haven't seen before. That, or not enough. That every time we're at these events, we get into these massive debates, right? And we thought, you know what? Let's put this ish on camera. You know, why not? Because they're really interesting discussions.
It's one of my favorite things about going to tournaments, man. Like as a commentator, I can have like my own theories and I can watch video, but getting to actually debate with the players and talk to them and listen and bounce ideas between us about, you know, how things are, the strengths and weaknesses of characters, things that you can do to counter some of their strengths and how matchup goes. You know,
one of the
player
things I'm
histories.
missing the most about the offline tournaments.
I mean, that and playing casuals until like 5 a.m. in the morning, but you know, we've got ranked for that, so it's all good. So we're going to kick off first by looking at this weekend's event, which was EU East and Middle East. Of course, Phenom, as we said, won that event. He is now in the Capcom Cup, and let's just take a look at how he made it through the tournament. Let's look at some of the highlights of his run that got his name on that list.
What performance?
Phenom, your champ. In fact, all of our picks, all of our predictions were right. And we didn't really, there was no disagreement.
Listen, Logan, great minds is what I'm going to say, man. Great minds.
That's why we're here. That's why we're doing it.
I tried my best to think outside the box, but the logical analyst and commentator in me saw the path and called it. And while you Muppets were disagreeing with me online, I was sitting there just twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the result to come to fruition, which it did. And everything I said, it's still relevant, you know? Who's going to adapt better to the unique environment these guys are playing in? I'm not saying that Phenom's better than Big Bird. I'm not saying that for a second. I'm just saying Phenom online is a different kind of beast to arguably Big Bird online or Angry Bird online, whoever else is in the event. And we saw that in the event.
And I have to say as well, it's reassuring going into the season as we progress, and for every other region, every other tournament that's going to happen, that the 3 top seeds were the top 3 finishers in the tournament. So that kind of perceived variance that could be there online didn't show itself. In fact, it was like a real flashback, because we did have the grand final, and it was Karen and Rashid in grand final. So it was almost like tournaments had never gone anywhere. I was teleported straight back to last year.
2019.
Everything was right in the world.
COVID-19 never happened, right? Just boom, we're back where we all started. No, genuinely, and I'm not surprised by that. We've been saying this as well. A lot of us have been saying this, that yes, there are some new characters to look out for. Yes, there's a bunch of changes that are changing those tier lists, but Rashid is still a problem, a very big problem. And Karen is still very relevant, as we're going to be seeing a bit more of as the show progresses.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw Karen in the hands of Margot at the Topanga League very early on as well. And that was when everyone was like, no, I'm going to switch over to Chun-Li. Chun-Li's the business, Karen's the... He gave Tokido the work with Karen. That walk speed still, she's still dangerous. Anyway, let's get back to this tournament, because one of the things that we were kind of postulating is where there's no international players, these are all region locked, right? So it's, it's only the players in that region. Are there going to be some unknown killers to come through and upset the apple cart? Are there going to be some players that are going to make a name off the back of this? We mentioned, Volcano Rosso, who finished second in the Middle East tournament. There's players that we were highlighting like Low High, players like Shady.
Was it Ahmed? Was it Ahmed the
Lord Ahmed, yeah. So,
Lord Ahmed as well.
But in the end, things panned out kind of as we expected them to. But there were some really talented players that showed up. So,
they were, yeah.
What were some of your most impressive performances over the weekend outside of the big three?
I'll go back to what I guess performance-wise, because it does involve one of the big three who actually won in the end, but performance-wise, I don't know how to say his name. Assume.
The Zeku.
Assume versus Angry Bird. That mirror match was volatile, and I think it was 3 rounds straight to Assume, and Angry Bird was heading out of the event. So massive shout out to Angry Bird for turning that around for one in that environment and just being able to clutch it out. But Assume looked ridiculous. He looked so comfortable in it. There were so many clutch moments as well. And almost like took over and won the set before Angry Bird could even get started. But Angry Bird, and not credit away from Assume, credit to Angry Bird, was able to pull his composure together and make a comeback. But that match was probably the most entertaining match before we got to the top 8. It was a super thrilling match.
You mentioned another couple of names that I was really impressed by. Lord Ahmed, the M Bison player who I'd never heard of before.
Same, never heard of him.
He looked really dangerous. And White Ash came through, the player that we do know a little bit more about.
Yeah, we predicted he'd be the guy to come through and probably pose the biggest threat.
He did make it into winners semis in top 8. Didn't make it through, but he made a good account of himself, and he definitely showed up. But in the end, the grand final, of course, was Phenom in winners against Big Birds, Karin Rashid. Let's take a look at some of those highlights, and we'll come back on the other side and talk about Phenom qualifying for Capcom Cup again, and what's going to happen between the two birds. But let's look at this grand final first.
Final round. Fight!
So that was the grand finals. Phenom against Big Bird.
He didn't want that reset, did he?
Karin against Rashid. Everything back to normal. Having flashbacks to last year. Street Fighter's back. It's all good.
It's interesting that because, like we said before this tournament started, when we were doing round one, that Phenom's been spending so much time picking up his characters, learning them, and we kind of overlooked Karin, right? Because he's not really spent much time with her online. It's been Chun-Li, it's been G, and he's been kind of like heart set on Chun-Li, it seemed. But when it came to this particular setting, he went with Karin, and I wonder if that's solidified his path moving forward. Because Karin is still a humongous problem in this game. Her fundamental basis of the way she plays is extremely powerful in this game.
There was a lot of speculation that in the online format, Karin would not be as effective. She's very hit confirm based, a lot of whiff punishes as well.
Yep.
All of that stuff is dependent on reaction time, and when you introduce extra latency, extra delay, your reaction time just slows down. It makes it much harder to utilize those tools that really push her up there as a contender. But Phenom looked really solid all weekend. He looked like he was cruising to a victory, and all respect to Big Bird for bringing it back and making it a contest. It was 3-2 in the end.
3-2 in the end. Big Bird did really well. He was up against match point at one point and a round down, and he won the 2 rounds to make it 2-2. He made a really good fight of it. But going back to Phenom, and I want to talk about Big Bird a bit, but going back to Phenom, I'm so impressed with the way he played and some of the things he pulled off, despite those challenges that you speak about, right? There was a point when he whiff punished the crouch fierce with stand light kick Tenko. I was like,
yes,
good lord, like
even basic things are hard that you take for granted, right? Anti-airing with crouch fierce doesn't have. I think it's only got one frame where it's like a proper anti-air, right? You've got Rashid jumping in with that fierce.
One of the best jump fierces
as well. I did see him mistime it a couple of times.
He got clattered a few times.
There was a couple of times he did Tenko on block as well off of the low forward. So yeah, it wasn't perfect. I'm sure it's not the performance that he would have wanted.
Yeah.
But
I've never seen him do so many Tenko on crouch medium block. But considering the settings, he did really well. I have to say as well, though, despite what you're saying, it's also synonymous with SF5 is the positioning, right? So there's a massive part that plays into picking Karin that I think works well, because as long as you're standing in the right spot and you're doing that or that, right? Crouch medium in the right spot, your chances of catching something are very high. Because our hitbox hurtbox ratio is so good, especially with that thing.
And the medium punch.
And the medium punch too. Oh my goodness, right? And Phenom is still hit confirming, but at the same time, from a certain distance, he doesn't need to hit confirm.
That's true.
He can just commit to the buffer, and the reward is the same, right? So there's certain scenarios there where I can understand why he's gone with Karin in the end for this particular online setting. It really makes sense now watching that final play. Yeah.
Well, we actually managed to have a pretty extensive conversation with Phenom about how he feels being in the Capcom Cup again. He's made every single one, I think, for Street Fighter 5 every year. He's the first name on the list. Talking to him about why he picked Karin, his feelings about the online tour, his thoughts about this season, what he's looking forward to. It's a really, really insightful interview. We've got about 20 minutes with the champ.
Nice.
So hopefully you enjoy that right now. Exclusive interview with the EU East Middle East 1 champion Phenom. I hope you enjoy it.
I feel very relieved that I somehow won that online tournament with the EU East Middle East, because you only have 2 chances, and the connections were not good. I really wanted to just get it over with. I didn't want to lose and go through that stress again. So in that sense, I'm very relieved, but I also feel pretty bad for like Bird, Angry Bird, and the other players. That other than that, I'm relieved. That's the best word I can think of. Really, I chose to play Karin in the online tournament because I just followed my feeling. Kind of, this is probably my best chance, and I just followed my gut feeling pretty much. I know everyone says she's not good online and everything, and I kind of agree, but I just felt like she was the character I was the best with at the moment. That's why I chose to play her, even in all that lag. When it comes to the other characters, like I've been like obviously I play Nekali on the side too, and I've been playing Chun-Li a lot. But the main reason I've been practicing, like you see me practice Chun-Li, G, and maybe some other characters for fun, is mostly because of SF League. I just want to have like a third character for that tournament. And originally I wanted to play G, but I figured there's no point because Strider is on my team. And I figured there's no point having me playing G and then we have him. So that's why I've been leaning towards Chun-Li as my third character, so to say. I don't really know how I'm able to play so well online. I've always been very adaptive. Like I've always played good while talking to people. Like while I'm talking on my phone, I can still play good. If it's laggy, I can still play good. And a lot of people said that, oh, Phenom is confirming even in lag. Honestly, I wasn't confirming anything. Like reactionary. If you saw the matches, how many blocked ankles I did, I looked like an amateur when I played, in my eyes. And I'm sure Big Bird and Angry Bird feel the same way because they dropped a lot of things, When we played, everyone was just dropping. We played like terrible matches, in my opinion, quality-wise. And I was just guessing. I was not reaction confirming anything. I was pretty much guessing in my head. I was like, yeah, maybe it's gonna hit, and then that's it. I think maybe if it's counter hit, you can react even in the lag because the counter hit never rolls back, right? But the stun bar, the health bar, the hit marker when you hit them, that rolls back. So you can't confirm those things in a 1-bar, 2-bar match. It's just impossible. So those I guessed. That was just raw guessing. I was like, I hope this hits now. But if I landed a counter hit, I think I could still kind of confirm, Of any tournament I played, this was the most stressful because I had zero control over anything. Like I felt like I couldn't control if I was if I was gonna win or lose. It was just luck. Like for example, if I hit a low forward, I prayed that I didn't get rollback. I had to play Sunmate for top 8. No, yeah, I had to play Sunmate for top 8, right? So I had to play a Russian guy for top 8, which is okay for me, connection-wise. And then Big Bird had to play someone from his region for top 8, connection-wise. And then he had to play someone from his region to make top 3. So looking at that bracket as a whole, I think it was very fortunate the way it ended, because everything lined up for us to make top 3, in my opinion. Next time it could not, could be different. When you see me online, you see me on ranked all the time, right? I think Effort said that, he said that, that, oh, I stream online all day. I just leave the game on. So you might see me on, but I might be outside. But I have been playing a lot. Mostly, like I said earlier, I've been playing Chun-Li and G and those type of characters, just preparing for SF League pretty much, and preparing for the online tournament I just was. And that's the reason I'm playing online, The reason I don't enter the online tournaments in general, like that online tournaments that are not CPT, is because I just don't want to. It's not a lot to gain, and I don't want to put myself through the stress. I just don't want to spend that energy on that when there's not much to gain in return. I hope that's understandable. I don't know if people will like that, but no, I'm just being honest. I don't mind playing ranked in Battle Lounge because I really don't have a choice. Like, there's not many people to play with in Norway. There's only me and Veggie. So if I want practice for offline events, I need to practice on. I do that with mostly ranked and Battle Lounge. And online tournaments generally don't interest me that much unless there is big reward. For example, this online event that was qualified for Capcom Cup. And if there's another event where you can win, maybe if there's a lot of money, that maybe I would join that tournament too. And yeah, that's the reason. I haven't qualified this early since 2016. It was June back then too when I auto qualified, and it was the same this year. So, but yeah, this is pretty much the fifth time in a row I qualified for Capcom Cup. But to be honest, it's hard to be happy about this year because it's not really because of the whole pandemic situation and all that. It's kind of a half pro tour in my eyes. It's not the full thing. I miss like the tournaments that I miss going to the most. That is usually Evo and I can only think of Evo because it's the biggest tournament, but also I'm a bias. I love to gamble, so I have the most fun when I go there because I play blackjack until 3 a.m. I lose all my money, but it's fun. Evo, as a tournament, is a big spectacle, and so it's like a big show, and I really like it. So I think that's maybe the tournament I missed the most. But there's a lot of to obviously you have Combo Breaker, you have the EGX is good, and there's so many good ones. So I miss a few of them, that's for sure. Yeah. For the rest of the year, I will pretty much chill. I will try enjoy the summer as much as I can. As much as possible with the whole pandemic thing. For sure, I'm gonna work out again, and I already am pretty much. I've began. So, I'm just gonna get my shit together. If that makes sense. I'm just gonna wait until Capcom Cup, pretty much. Like, the metagame in this season is very hard to put my finger on, like, which characters are gonna be dominant. There's so many characters now that got buffed. No one expected Nauman to win Evo Japan. Not only did he win Evo Japan, he proved that it wasn't a fluke or anything, but he won another tournament after that, beating the same Japanese top players. I forget what tournament it was, but yeah, so you have Sakura, Laura. I don't want Capcom Cup with Laura, and Poison now. She got buffed. She's very strong. Rashid is as good as ever. Urien got buffed. Chun-Li got buffed. There's so many characters now that are super good because they got either buffed or they were as strong as they were last season. About this season, with the metagame and all, I don't even know. I can't tell you who's gonna dominate the Pro Tour. Perhaps Karen is a lot better than what people thought she was, but it's still too early. I think when the patch came out for this season, I put Karen at A tier, below S tier, 1 tier below S, and I still think she's there. However, it's gonna be hard to argue that she could be higher if more Karen players are winning or keep winning. Say if me and Punk we keep winning, it's gonna be hard to argue that she's not S tier or still not S tier. If we're being honest, this is how fighting games work, pretty much. You have to respect, you have to see the results, and if multiple players are doing well with the same character, then probably that character is pretty good, right? That's only logical. We have to wait and see. I currently think that she's not S tier, she's A tier, but time will tell. The characters that are in A tier are still very tournament viable, and there are a lot of them who are in that column this season. So I think potentially depending on what type of players. I mean, especially in the online tournament where pretty much everyone in those regions are gonna play, you might see maybe some interesting characters that could make it. Or maybe I'm wrong and you're just gonna see the regular, you know, Akumas and Rashids and, you know, God knows. Yeah, that's crazy. Like the first CPT tournament and it's Rashid versus Karen. It's almost poetic. Yeah, everything felt normal again, and I mean, I guess that's a good thing, right? I want to see how, because I want to see Nauman play because he had very good momentum early in the year, and I felt that it got like shut down because of the pandemic thing. So I kind of hope that he wins the online event because in Japan, because you know, I feel like he played so well early in the year that I would like to see him in the Capcom Cup. You know, I think my thoughts on Gil and Seth is that I would say Seth is definitely the stronger character of the two. He has a lot of potential, and he's at least top 10 in my opinion. Could be higher, but there's not enough information like high level play, tournament play we've seen yet, so we can't really say. Seth has like a lot of different tools that do different things pretty much. Like let's use the axe kick, right, which is like sometimes it's plus on block, sometimes it's minus, but it's usually safe, right? And it's very hard and annoying to deal with. It combos on hit. If it's crouching, it gets an even bigger combo, and it's like an anti-neutral move, and he has a lot of those. Like he has a tandem engine as well. His Richigur 1 is very good. He can rob pretty much anyone with a low forward. So he has a lot of different ways he could win. Like in the matchups where his buttons on the ground are not good enough, he has the axe kick, he has the tandem engine. Or if his buttons were good enough, he can play a safe, solid style. And if he's losing, he always has the comeback potential with the V-Trigger 1, right? And so I think he has all the tools to become a tournament-winning character, pretty much. And I think Gil, he has some strong points. Like he has a decent he has a good V-Trigger, I would say, and he has that ice fireball he can just dash after, which is kind of brain dead. But he has some flaws as well. I think Gil is okay, but I think Seth is the character we should really be looking for. I think if the right player picks him up, you're gonna see him do some very big damage in the Pro Tour. I don't think I'll be hyped seeing any character. I'll kind of be like worried, you know? Like if I see Viper, I'll be worried. If I see Abel, I'll be worried. If I see Fei Long, even though Fei Long is the type of character I would play, like I'll be because he's a very like simple, straightforward footsie character. I will also be worried because he might be too strong, right? Same with like Yun with the dive kick thing. And man, imagine they added Rufus. That would be crazy. I'm just worried that they're gonna add the characters and then just, I don't know what to say. I don't really want to see anyone, but I hope they just forget about it and then, you know, oh, we forgot to add the DLC characters. And then we just play the game as it is. But it's not gonna happen, so yeah. Don't add Elena. Please don't add Elena. Please don't add Elena. Please, please, please. Because I have so many bad memories of that character. And that character cost me a spot in the Capcom Cup in the SF4 days. So yeah. Actually, anyone other than Elena, I'll be happy. No, there's no character like that I would be like, yeah, I definitely want to play him or her, because I don't know what they're gonna do with the character, right? Like, it might be he or she might be completely different from what they used to be in the older games, right? So, and I'm not the type of like, I don't really care about that much about how they look and all that. Like the only characters I really like the looks of is like Bison and like Nikali and like those type of characters I think are cool, but there's not a lot of those characters, those type of characters. There is usually like some, I don't know, karate dude or kung fu dude or witch girl or something, I don't know, ninja girls. And I like cool villain characters, so, and I think they run out of all of them. Like Seth is in the game, Urien, Gil, Bison, Nikali, like they run out of all the villains, so there's no more, there's not anyone else I'm hyped for, you know. I think this year or this season of Capcom Cup is gonna be probably the easiest to potentially win, because usually every year you have half of the cup is players from Japan, pretty much. Like last year there were so many Japanese players in the Capcom Cup, and it was pretty hard to fight your way through those brackets. However, this year, you know, there's only gonna be 2, maybe 3, and then you have to consider Southeast Asia. You know, they might have some good players coming up too, and then from Europe, and then from North America. So I think, and Latin America, and then you have Australia, China, which are, I would say, are the wild cards. So I think the level is still gonna be high, only if you know, the best players in those regions don't mess up. Let's say if Problem and Luffy or Problem and Infectious win EU West, then you know the cup is gonna get harder and harder pretty much if it goes on like that. Like if Punk wins in North America, etc., Knuckle wins, etc., then it's gonna be pretty hard. But say if I'm not gonna say any names, but say players that are not those players win and qualify, then you know, in the offline scenario it might be a lot easier. Imagine they flew us out to like America and they'd be like, yeah, you just gotta play each other online. We're all in the same hotel. That would be funny. That'll be crazy. Man, I mean, obviously that's not gonna happen, but you know, I think that like you have to make it offline, you know, if you want to make a global event with players from all over the world. But at that point, they would want, like, you would want to make a show of it, right? You know, you don't want to film me in my hotel room and then you film Daigo in his hotel room in his boxer shorts. I mean, if I'm allowed to play in my boxer shorts, then you know it has to be the full online experience. Like sometimes, you know, I don't even have a shirt on when I play at home. So if it's like that, you know, we need to make it as authentic as possible. Then you know I'll be down for that, yeah. So regarding Middle East as a Street Fighter region, I think that they fully deserve their own online tournament, online CPT tournament, and they've proven it by having not 1 but 2 players from that region qualify for Capcom Cup. One made second at Evo and won premier event and regional final. The other has made top 8 Capcom Cup and also won a regional final. And they've both gotten multiple top 8s and beaten the best players in the world consistently. So, like, I think they've done so much work for their region that they definitely deserve that. And I don't want to I said it on Twitter already. I'm not gonna start calling out other regions, but it doesn't make sense that certain other regions have their own online event and the Middle East didn't get that, when the Middle East proved the most that they were the ones that deserved it, you know. And it's not like those other regions have a super big player base or anything. It's not that much bigger than the Middle East. The Middle East has a lot of different players there that you didn't see in the online tournament that we just played. Like they have Big Bird, Angry Bird, White Ash, you saw him. You saw that Zeku player that Angry Bird played, for example, from Oman. And from Kuwait you have Dudebag, you have Aziz. there's a lot of like talent in the Middle East, and it's good enough that I think it's good enough that they should have their own online CPT. It's a pretty sad situation in my opinion, like because now either one of those two, Big Bird or Angry Bird, is not gonna make it to Capcom Cup. You know, I'm 100% gonna enter the next one to Gatekeep. There's no stress for me to enter. I'm gonna enter it, and I'm gonna like no, but like I don't like. I think I'm just gonna enter it to play my like Chun-Li, something like that, pretty much. There's no prize money, but I feel like gatekeeping. I just feel like it. For them, like even if I win the tournament again, it's still a battle amongst them. Like even if I win the tournament again, second place is gonna qualify. When it comes to online tournaments, I don't think I've ever lost. I can't even remember the last time I lost an online tournament. So I'm pretty confident I would make grand finals again. If that happens, then yeah, if I win again, then it's about, for example, if Big Bird or Angry Bird would make grand finals, pretty much. But I'm assuming I would be first seed the next tournament, because they would have to follow the earlier online tournament, right? Like, or I don't know if they would do that or if they would follow last year. I'm not sure, but I would assume that I will be first seed, so I would not play anyone. Like I would be waiting in winners final for Big Bird or Angry Bird or something like that. You know. But yeah, I think I'm considering gatekeeping for sure. I haven't decided yet, but because the stress is pretty much over for me, and it kind of depends on my mood. It's still a long way until that tournament, you know.
Really great insight there from Phenom. He's made it to Capcom Cup again. He's been at every single Capcom Cup for Street Fighter 5. I have to say that because, of course, the last one for Street Fighter 4, and that's why he was so against having Eleanor in the list of Season 5.
You guys see the image?
He just doesn't want Eleanor again.
There's so many beautiful things about that particular misfortune. We don't want to spend too much time on it, but Shen saying, I gotta do it for the Gen players out there. I gotta do it for Gen. And then losing the game, go straight to Eleanor. And then blocking poor Phenom. And then that image, I don't know if you guys have seen the image, look on Twitter, of Phenom, like, you know, just head down and Shen walking away with this guilty smile on his face, blocking him. But that made him stronger. Because here we are now, 5 years in a row, always qualifying.
It is not the... I'm trying to remember what the premiere he won was in 2016, that first year, because you were automatically qualified in 2016 for winning
DreamHack Summer.
Yeah.
Oh, we remember that DreamHack. I think that was five Command Grab Daigo DreamHack.
Was it?
I think so. Right. That was the DreamHack when Phenom bodied all the Japanese, and everyone was like, "This Nikali is insane." It might be. I might be wrong, but I remember a DreamHack where Phenom played out of his mind.
Oh, that was where Ryan Hart murked Momochi and then barely lost to Daigo and losers as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But he's there now. He's going to be in Capcom Cup. His record in Capcom Cup is quite interesting because he started off Street Fighter 5 really well, getting a 9th spot finish in 2016. Then it fell right off. He went 0-2 in 2017. He had a bit of a crisis of characters, I think. But since then, it's been steady improvement. So 2017, he was 25th. 2018, he was 17th. 2019, he shot for the stars. 3rd place. An incredible performance. Top 3. No one in top 3 at Capcom Cup last year was from the Asian region. This is very, very telling. And of course, now he is the first name to join IDOM at Capcom Cup. But one of the big questions that we need to ask now that the first EU East Middle East tournament is out, is who's going to be the second name from that region? Because we have Big Bird and Angry Bird.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
poor guys.
The little gatekeeper that he is, the heel of professional wrestling, the bad guy, Phenom, has threatened to enter again to gatekeep so he can test out his characters for SFL in a competitive setting.
So he might just turn up, block Big Bird from getting to grand finals, and then he could win or lose. So, and also the way it works this year is the same as like back in 2016, right? Second place.
Yeah. So if he said that if he wins, then whoever finishes second, obviously gets the spot.
Yeah.
But
it's still blocking though, because it's path towards...
Exactly. So we mentioned that, right? That when we were looking at the pools for the event, there was 3 big names, and Big Bird was up here, and Phenom and Angry Bird were down here.
Exactly,
so what's going to happen now with the seeding is Phenom going to be the guy who's number 1 seed and at the top by himself, and then the Birds will have to play a winner's semis to face him? I mean, in the end, if they get through, then they're going to have to play each other in losers finals, worst case scenario, and that will be a qualification match. Very interesting to see. Obviously, Big Bird has a longer history. Angry Bird less prominent, I guess, in the competitive
and we looked at
scene.
Statistics as well. Thanks to Glenn, you shared as well that I think we saw like a 17-9 win rate in top 8s for Big Bird. 4 out of 8 of the top 8s he got into, he won last year. Whereas Angry Bird makes a lot of those top 8.
Yeah, it was like 14 and 14.
Yeah, it's 14 and 14, exactly. It's a bit more 50-50. And that's not a bad record, because remember the caliber of the opponents you're up against in top 8 at premiers and rankings. The caliber's ridiculous, right? But to have a 17-9 versus a 14-14, you've got to lean towards Big Bird. However, we're talking about the Birds, but have we considered the possibility that one of those standout surprise up-and-comers from the East region just turns up and performs?
I tell you what, we have to consider as well. One of the players that wasn't in the tournament this weekend, because one of the big ones though, because he just finished his degree, and his connection, I think he hadn't set up to be good enough to play.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But hopefully he will be involved. Is Aziz. So, and he's a name that you might not know on an international level because he hasn't been sponsored that long. But
mate, you got my mouth watering with the drama now. I've just had another thought. Please finish your point.
I mean, we've got to wait till September for that. That's going to be a long time coming, but that's where we're at, and we're going to be doing this all year long. We're going to be projecting, speculating, picking it apart, going in. We're also going to be looking at other subjects as well, not just the CPT, because we're here 2 hours every week. We're going to be talking about things that are going on in the community. We've got some tournaments to look at that have happened in the past couple of weeks. And we've got some really cool talking points as well.
Before we leave that topic, I've got to say it. You're mentioning Aziz, which is massive, right? There's also guys like Jiomi and others who can still enter. But more importantly, in my opinion, what if the Russians decide to enter the next one?
Coming out rats.
Because they didn't enter. They didn't enter this one. That's not easy for Big Bird and Angry Bird. I mean, they are a serious threat, and we could have a Russian qualified before you know it in September. I can't wait. I want to see the drama. Whew. Wow.
Well, we're going to get into the next subject, and it is who was the biggest winner in the Season 5 patch changes? Which character was blessed the most?
We're about to upset some of you character loyalists because we're going to tell it how it is. And I know how sensitive some of you get, but I don't care, baby. It's the F-Meister. We keeping it real out here.
Well, we're going to chip in with our picks, but I thought the best thing to do would be ask some of the pros first. Now, of course, we've got NA East coming up.
I like that, though.
I've spoken to some of the players that we were speaking to ahead of NA East, and we're going to find out exactly who they think are the biggest winners in Season 5 with the update patch. So let's get straight into it now. We'll be back on the other side with some of our picks and see if they line up with the pros.
So if I really had to think about who was the most blessed this season,
characters that I think got really good this season.
The characters that got blessed the most. What character that got blessed in Season 5?
Since I don't read patch notes, I just wait to play against characters and then figure out what they got.
Okay, so I think the big winners for this patch would have to be, I would say, Urien.
The character who obviously got blessed that everyone's talking about right now is Urien.
I think that, obviously Urien has always been really good.
Urien? Now, let's talk about Urien for a second. You see, Urien was always one of those characters where he didn't have the greatest fireballs, he didn't have the greatest neutral, but his special moves and his V-trigger comeback, the Aegis Reflector, V-trigger 1, that's what kind of like made him shine, but now they buffed his flaws.
Just off of V Skill 2 alone, I think he's one of the biggest winners.
So like Urien's always going to be mad strong. Urien was good last season. He got even better this season. Got the V skill too.
He's always been an amazing character, but this season he might be the best. It's hard to say without tournaments, but I think Urien, he may be the best in the game right now. That V skill 2 was a big change for him. And it's just like, it makes him do so much more damage. It makes his zoning a lot better. Like, the whole character pretty much just changes.
Because, other characters got nerfs, so that V skill 2 helps his bad matchups too.
So now that he has that V skill 2 where he charges up the fireball and now it's multiple hits, I think he's like arguably the best character in the game because of that.
Oh, Chun-Li. Chun-Li buffs are OD.
I would say Chun-Li, of course.
Of course, the number one probably spoken about character this season is maybe Chun-Li, who have gotten a ton of buffs.
Heavy legs being knocked down, like having Oki off of heavy legs is really good.
Like low forward heavy legs is actually a ridiculous buff. I don't think that is nothing wrong with it. Chun-Li deserves some love.
She has new combos that's practical with her V skill 1. She has a hard knockdown heavy legs now. That's very good. So those things, she has those things make her very, very good this year and definitely a contender for top 5 in my opinion.
So for me personally, I like seeing characters like, of course I can be biased, but for my playstyle, I like seeing characters like that be top tier more than I like seeing like a G, Angie, XYZ being top tier.
It depends on what scale you look at. If you look at most improved, I couldn't even give you an answer because I think the most improved characters still don't matter. Like it doesn't matter if you go from D to B tier if you got to be B plus to compete. So I know a lot of people say stuff like Kage and Chun-Li. Chun-Li's not she's definitely up in higher tier characters, but I don't feel like any of the big winners got buffed so much that it would make top players divert their current game plan to pick them up and use them. I don't think anyone's dropping anybody to use Kage. A lot of Karen players are subbing Chun-Li, but they're going back to Karen slowly, bit by bit, So I think there's some big winners, but did it really shake things up? Not really. I think it just gave the character specialist, a nice pat on the back for sticking with the characters that they had chosen from the beginning. I think on the other hand, the big winners are the people who didn't get touched as bad as they could have been.
A character who I think always slips under the radar is there's two characters actually, is Guile and Cammy. I feel like they've never been bad in any iteration of Street Fighter 5. Guile and Cammy is like always gonna be good.
Guile, I think Guile has gotten a lot better. I like to watch Daigo streams a lot, and I'll be seeing him just running trains on tons of Japanese players. Just streaks. They never get taken off the lobby, top of the lobby. So I think Guile is really, really good this season.
The reason I think Guile's so strong is just Guile's anti-Street Fighter 5. I think Poison, Guile, and Manat are probably the 3 biggest anti-Street Fighter 5 characters. They don't play the game, but they play the game so well. It's weird to explain. They're like anti-meta character, like in like card games. They're like stop you from doing what you want to do.
Poison is very, very good. That V skill too. Even I think she was very good last season. Didn't have the chance to shine because she came out so late in the season. I think she came out after Evo. Idom and Justin showed off her a bit last season, but it was way too late. Capcom couldn't see it, and then they gave her the new V skill, which is so good. It gives her so many new combos. It gives her just access to a lot of things. Like sometimes she can get out the corner with the V skill now.
If I'm not mistaken, EX wheel kick, the flip didn't hit overhead last season, and this season it does. That is cheap.
She has big damage with the V trigger. The cocktail gives her so much damage, and its timer is so long.
Yeah, I feel like another character that I feel that has been blessed once again is Rashid, because Well, Rashid has not. He's kind of still the same, but I still see some of the nerfs.
I think Rashid is starting to add up a little bit, but he's still by design top 3, easy for me.
But I feel like people are sleeping on his V skill too. And I haven't really seen too many Rashids. They stopped using it, but I don't see too many Rashids picking that V skill 2. But I would definitely use that V skill 2 in tournaments. In a 2 out of 3, you're not going to know all of those setups, and it's hard to react to it because he's flying in the air. You know what I'm saying? So he can go behind you at any moment, cross you up randomly. Like, I feel like that's one of the things that people have to really look out for this season.
Abigail, even though I've always hated this character,
I think Abigail, because that tire, why did they give Abigail a tire?
and they actually nerfed him without there even being a season this year. That's how you know he was cheap and brain dead. They had to nerf him before, and there was no season. They nerfed him with no season because my man was running across the screen after an anti-air and just putting you in the corner.
Like that, when I saw that, I questioned Capcom. I'm like, so they just want the opponent to get salty. That's what I think that's what they're doing.
Bison has always been a pretty solid character, but now I think that he has moved up a lot in the tier list with all the other characters being nerfed, and I don't think he was touched at all, if I'm correct. I think Bison has risen up a lot in the tiers, and maybe, I'm sure Problem X is very sad. Abigail and Bison have gotten better, and just, you got no tour, you know, so I hope those characters get nerfed. Don't want to see them next year. I played Problem X way too much in tournaments, so I'm okay on that end.
You know, I think that's like the Akumas, the Gs. Those two stick out to me the most. So I would say the big winners are just the powerhouses we've known since season 4. For like, no one got the season 3 ball rug treatment, is all I can say.
Sakura is mad nice this season in my opinion. Laura, just because Laura just does not need buffs ever. And this is coming from somebody who, anybody watching this that really follows tournament will know my record against Laura players this year is phenomenal. Like, I'm good against Laura, and I'm just keeping it a buck. Laura is mad good. You know, she's never like a top 5 character, but she doesn't need to be. It's weird.
And matter of fact, hold on. You know what character I forgot about? That I forgot to mention, that this character is one of the biggest problems on the online CPT, Blanca. That character, you really got to worry about that character this season. I feel like Blanca is really good. I don't know what they did, but you just feel like he just feels better.
Okay, I think the last real winner of the patch, someone that people don't really talk about too much is Cody.
Same with Cody. I wasn't really losing to that many Codys back in the day, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not discrediting all the Cody specialists, but I don't know, y'all. Like, I've been getting washed this season by Codys. I don't know what's going on.
I think Cody is really strong. I'm not sure who asked for Cody to do more damage, but V-Skill 2 actually gives him access to more damage and more answers in certain situations.
I think they buffed that bingo and maybe his V-trigger. I don't remember. He was able to get 3 command grabs. When was this? I had to worry about 3 command grabs. Before, I thought it was, if you command grab me 2 times, your V-trigger over, all right, cool. But now you got another one on deck, so I got to guess another time when I'm already stunned? I don't know. Something wasn't adding up. That's all.
So I think Cody is a slept-on character this season.
You know what's crazy? Like, I think majority of the characters in this game, like, they buffed the low tiers and the mid-tier characters. You know how many extra threat characters there are? Like,
I think characters like Vega has got improved a lot. His V-Skill 2 is really good.
Vega's a problem.
And like all the damage now, he get to cancel the V-trigger from all of the special moves, and that makes his damage huge now.
I heard Problem X was saying that Vega is arguably top 10 or high tier for sure. I heard about that. So that's what I'm saying.
And I think those things help Vega. I mean, his anti-airs are still a little suspect. Still a bit suspect, but it's okay, Vega. Don't worry. You are broken this season.
Ed, this season, Yo, I think what is it? Infiltration. I think he wasn't lying when he was saying that Ed has potential this season. I believe him. Like that V skill 2, people sleeping on that. And his V trigger 1 is still solid. There's still mix ups, and V trigger 2 is really well, so it's really good. Yeah, I think the majority of the roster now is like you got to really learn every matchup.
So, actually, and I will add Falk. I think Falk got better this year. Oh, last one. Number 1 character that got blessed this season might be Kage. He actually got a lot. I don't think he's busted or nothing, but he did get a lot better than what he was. I think people might be sleeping.
Cammy players are back. I think Cammy players are back. That character cheap. Don't let all right, because she got nerfed in season 4. Don't let that fool you. Season 5, this is another new year, and she is solid. And her V skill 2, people sleeping on that.
And Cammy, I just feel like her jump. All she does is jump. That's it. Just jump.
A character that's not talked about a lot, I think, is Zeku, who I think has been maybe top 5 last season.
Zeku is, he's a Marvel character now in Street Fighter. With the assist he has, that V skill 2 is he really gets legitimate mix-ups now, so that's really good.
But people just, for some reason, I guess there's not enough representation. There's only Angry Bird and Infectious, so you don't get to see them much. But I think that Zeku has probably been top 5 last season, and he is for sure, in my opinion, top 5 this season. He has the new buffs with the low forward that's hit confirmable with old Zeku now, and the EX Gram is plus, so you can always just do low forward EX Gram and your plus in their face. So that's a big improvement, in my opinion. To have a hit confirmable button in Street Fighter V is like one of the greatest things you can have in this game, in my opinion. So I think Zeku has been really good.
I still think G, I think that G is also a problem this season for a lot of people. So
Japan said he was C tier. I guess Strider didn't beat enough of those guys last year. He had to beat a bit more. I don't know, man. I don't understand why Capcom did not nerf G. They only buffed my man. For some reason, he got things, but he didn't get nerfed, and he out here robbing us with 2 sequences. 2 sequences is all it takes. There's a lot of characters now. I think even Lucia, even though she didn't really get much, the toning down of all the other characters, in my opinion, make Lucia really good this season. And, people probably don't know much about the character since no one really plays her outside. Maybe Momochi played her at Capcom Cup. That's probably the only time I've ever seen Lucia played in the tournament. So I think she is actually a really, really good character.
It's just so many characters. It's so many characters that you really have to work. You should be on your guard at all times with every character you run. Don't sleep on anybody.
Welcome back. You heard some of the top players in the NA East region alongside Punk, who we spoke to because, of course, he has got a great history on East. He's moved, though. He did the cross-country hop.
The common one that happens as well.
Yeah, the esports migration.
That's what it is. It's the esports migration.
But yeah, you can see some of their thoughts on some of the characters that got buffed, and to be honest,
pretty fair.
It was mostly what I expected. Some of them were kind of left field, and I feel they might have been influenced by personal experience bias,
which is standard for top players.
Yeah, of course,
standard for top players.
Of course. But I've got my 3. Have you got your 3 that you want to pick?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll let you open up. You can go first.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep it obvious.
I want to know if you're talking complete nonsense. If you know what you're talking about, or if you're just blagging it.
Listen, I blag occasionally when I need to, Governor. Yeah, let's keep it real, mate. But I want to keep it 100 and just say, very obviously, Chun-Li was a fantastic winner this season. Because she was. She has come out, and I think she's way more relevant now. I think seeing how relevant Karin still is, you might not see as many Karin mains move to Chun-Li as we expected. But I do see Chun-Li turning up and doing some big damage now in this season. And she already has a Japanese Chun-Li, I can't remember his name, has already won a pretty decent online tournament with all the Japanese top heads there. an unofficial one. I've forgotten his name. I think he's the top ranked Chun-Li online. And there's a few others as well where Chun-Li has completely changed. So look, let's go through some of the most significant changes that she has, right? Oki off a confirmable crouch medium with no charge needed. That's a big change for her, you know, because she can apply that pressure. Also, they've given her the opportunity now to walk apply pressure a bit more, because that stand medium punch has less pushback. Already a fantastic button, easily hit confirmable as well. And let's not forget, this is one of the only characters, I think the only character in the game that already had light into medium with no counter hit needed. She already had that, right? Has anyone else got that in the game?
I mean, Ken, standing light punch.
But that's a target combo.
The start.
I mean, then loads of characters have that. Then I've got that too, but this is jab.
I get told it all the time, that's all I'm saying.
But you have to commit, right? I mean, she's literally, if you do jab medium as the way you're talking, right? With no counter hit, you're negative.
Yeah.
Chun-Li does jab medium, and she's still in your face, she's still plus.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different scenario, right?
That's a horrible situation now. I mean, yes, everyone's talking about the legs hard knockdown Oki, which is really good for her. Mid-screen Oki for a character immediately makes them better. It's just how the rules of the game work, right? If you can apply pressure, looping pressure anywhere on the screen, it makes you scarier and more powerful as a character. But her mid-screen pressure now from that medium punch, it really puts her in a situation where she gets to use a lot of those buffs, because the medium punch allows her to really play Street Fighter V. The throw tech game, the throw bait game, she can just do medium punch, then medium punch again on block. You're going to get counter hit. She gets a combo off that. If you try and just firm it, she can walk and throw you. So you have to challenge that. If you try and walk out, she has the hit confirmable low.
She has a hit confirmable crouch medium kick, which leads to Oki, which is pretty frightening. The only thing I'd say that stops her from being like a real massive top 5 contender, in my opinion, because everyone was saying top 5 when it sort of changes. I'm not sure about that, right? Is that when you do try, there are the risk reward for you as on the defending side, when she has no V trigger yet, isn't as devastating as say a carry catching you with a low or a G catching you with an EX low smash, right? It's not as painful, right? She's getting her legs into Oki, and you're in a situation to guess again. So the risk for you trying to take some kind of escape option, whether it's walk back, dash back, or take me throw, whatever it might be, it isn't as devastating. So for me, as good as she's become, definitely one of the best winners, one of the biggest winners this season, she still isn't, right, a top 5 contender for me. Now, I could be proven wrong. This is the great thing about having the season back, right? Because it's so hard to tell until we see the actual games being played in a mass amount by all the best players in the world, right? It's very hard to tell. Like, a lot of people were sleeping on Sakura until we saw Evo, and then suddenly we're like, whoa, Sakura could be quite relevant. So it's hard to tell, but just from my analysis, she's great, but she's not broken, in my opinion, at the moment. We'll see if that changes.
I mean, it's very reminiscent, that medium punch situation is very reminiscent of the Season 1 legs situation, where, you know, you guess the throw, you get hit and comboed, you block, and she's plus on block, and she's got great walk speed and a good throw. And an incredible dash as well. She needs it.
Really good dash. We need to talk about her neutral as well, because as if that wasn't, this is one of the only characters that can stand toe to toe with some of the best footsie characters in the game and hold her own. Right?
She got a really subtle change on her fierce.
Why though? Why? I mean,
it's another one of the, so it went from -5 to -4, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which on paper doesn't look, oh, it's -4, I can still punish it with a light. Not at that range, you can't, mate.
You can't.
Do you know what I mean? It was already quite difficult to punish with some 5-frame supers because of the distance.
The distance and the time it takes to get there.
But now, forget that. She can't punish herself.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the punish though. Yeah. It's also the scenario.
Yeah.
You're -4, but the range you're at, you're not actually -4, because there's nothing I can press for certain characters that actually gets me my turn back. It's either gonna whiff or it's going to get counter hit by your second. Because you know what you're doing after rock, because we call Chun-Li rock, paper, scissors. Those of you who don't know, right? It's rock, paper, or scissors, which is the roundhouse, the legs, right? And they are all extremely strong neutral pokes. And if you're doing one button that you think is going to reach that fierce after you've blocked, it's probably going to be like a 9 or 10 frame starter for a lot of characters, a button with that much range. And if it isn't, it's going to whiff. So she's doing that, and now she's -4. It's actually taken away some options for some characters in certain games, in certain matchups. Yeah. And it's made her neutral that tiny bit stronger, which she didn't really need, but she's got it. So happy days.
Well, let's take a quick look at some highlights of some of the well-known Chun-Li players around the world. Right now, you can get an idea of how she's looking. She's definitely going to be out there in the competitive circuit this year. So if you didn't know, you better get to know. I think Chun-Li's a fair pick, but as you said, it's debatable whether she's really punching in that top 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the characters that were top 5 anyway, somehow managed to avoid getting nerfed.
Yep.
Some of them did get nerfed, but they're still up there putting in work.
Yep, absolutely.
I think one of the characters. My pick for most blessed this season.
Is this your number one most blessed?
This is my number one.
So you
pick.
think this person's more blessed than Chun-Li?
Yeah.
Okay, we might have an argument on that.
Because boy, listen, I think this, and there's multiple world champions that have said this character could be the best character in the game.
Best character in the game, not most blessed character in the game.
Well, they definitely
not most improved this season.
They definitely weren't in the talks for best character in the game before.
And now they are. Okay,
and now they are.
I know who you're talking about. Then.
We are talking about Urien, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I hear that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Urien.
That's debatable, actually. That's a fair
I've got some really interesting points about Urien that people may have not thought about. Of course, you know, you've got the V-Skill 2. On paper, that covers, and I think most of the guys mentioned this in the piece that we just watched. The V-Skill 2 is such an incredible tool for covering some of his bad matchups. Because Urien versus Guile, while still bad now, was horrendous before. In fact, he has trouble with a lot of projectiles.
He does. I feel like he does,
just projectiles in general, because Metallic Sphere is not a good projectile. You know, he has a mix between doing the horizontal and the air one, so if you try and jump preemptively and guess, the Metallic Sphere is going to come out.
It's actually a decent projectile when you're not up against projectile characters.
It's okay.
It's terrible against projectile
frame-wise, it's roughly a Shoto projectile. But with that V-Skill 2, it not only allows him to compete a little bit more in projectile wars, if you let him back off, because it's not a given that he's going to V-Skill up. You know, he still has to get it off and stop from being it, so he can't do it close. But if you let him backdash, V-Skill up and get that, it doesn't move that fast. He can actually dash behind it.
Oh, it's pretty slow.
So it gives him control as well. Another buff related to fireballs, which I think is, again, a very subtle one, but very important in terms of his pressure, is the EX Metallic Sphere. Went from +1 to +2. Now, if you're a character, if you're a character that only has a 4-frame normal, like Urien, having that frame advantage is very important. You saw what happened to Bison when he was only +1 over Psycho Axe and only had a 4-frame.
Almost pointless.
No one cared.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately when he's got a 3-frame now, you better respect that. And it's the same for Urien. He's +2, he presses the 4-frame, you can't backdash out of it, you have to respect it, and it allows him that freedom to just continually mix you up. One of the other points I want to make, and this is one that's like a system-wide change, because we know a lot of characters benefited from stamina buffs, health buffs.
Yeah, everyone did, right? Well, almost everyone.
A lot of the characters that were not considered top tier, in fact, benefited from health buffs. Urien got an extra 25 health, and you can think, extra 25 health? He got an extra 50 stun as well. But I want to look at this 25 health, right? Because he's got a 3-bar V trigger.
Yeah.
Arguably, one of the best V triggers in the game.
You know, it annoys me when everyone says one of the best V triggers. Just tell it how it is. Tell it how it is.
I'd have to really think about it, whether it's. It's. If you were to tell me it wasn't top three, we'd be having a fight right now.
Easily,
right?
Easily.
Having an extra 25 health just gives you that little more chance of getting that V trigger. You don't want to leave Urien on 25 health left, and he suddenly does Quarrel Punch into overhead or Crouching Medium Kick, and he activates. And what are you going to do? You're going to have to guess. Everyone has to guess. We're all the same when those mirrors come out. And I feel like that helps him. So, whilst he hasn't had any incredible, obvious on paper, broken, game-breaking buffs,
well,
they all add up.
V-Skill 2 is pretty big.
I mean, the V-Skill 2 is pretty big, but it's not like, oh, he suddenly just beats Guile 6-4 now after, you know what I mean? You know, it's difficult still because he has to get the V-Skill off.
Yep.
And he has to do the fireball, and it takes time. And Guile's out here flinging multiples,
just chucking plasma,
having a great day. But everyone else, projectile-wise, it's a big deal, and it just allows him to encroach and control the screen, which he does anyway because he's got EX knee drop, EX chariot tackle, a great dash fireball game as well. So for me, I think Urien's definitely up there. Do I think he's the best character in the game? I don't think he is the best character in the game.
I don't think he's close personally.
But there's a lot of people that have said he is, and they are far more successful Street Fighter players.
I saw the interviews. I still disagree, and this is the thing, as an analyst, I don't have to be a pro player anymore to disagree with you guys. I still see a bunch of uphill matchups for Urien that have been impacted by his V skill 2 and his buffs, that he can now fight better, but that he still loses. When I look at other guys in the top echelon of the game, I struggle to find bad matchups for them. You know, I struggle to think of a really, really bad matchup for Rashid. I see matches where he slightly loses, but I still see matchups where Urien kind of gets pummeled. And for me, that's a big factor. That's just my opinion, though. In terms of the most improved character in the game, I think you have a strong argument there. You have a strong argument.
I feel like I've put my argument across well. Even though on paper they might not look like the most incredible buffs, they all help. Like there's characters that got buffs that just made them better at being that character already.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like Urien's buffs fill in his gaps. As Shine said, you know, as Smug said, they've taken things that were weak in Urien and just given him an answer for it. And that's what all of them are. You know, he's really scary. We're going to take a look at some clips of some of the notable Uriens out there, what they're doing. And we'll be back on the other side with F-Word's next pick. All right, so that's both our first picks. Who else you got?
Sorry, just
You did
throwing
Macaulay
up,
v
throwing
Skill
up from
too.
all those
All right.
all those Uriens and their disgusting setups. So actually, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one because it's going to upset a few people, right? I don't care because that's who I am, right? It's the F Master, baby. I think most improved, right, doesn't necessarily make you a top tier character. Right?
Okay.
It doesn't even necessarily make you a relevant character because there are characters, you can see the smile picture. There are characters that get improved, right?
Yeah.
And they're still irrelevant, right? Well, stop giving me that look. What's wrong with you, man?
You're going to pick some dead character that no one cares about.
Look, it's my secret pick for the season, right? I'm just waiting for the right guy to turn up.
I'm just waiting for him to. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say Cody. I'm going to say. Look, I'm not saying Cody is now a top 10 character. I'm not saying that he could be though, right? But what I am saying is, in terms of who Cody was and who he is now, I think Cody is one of the biggest winners, which is what this segment is, right? Who are the biggest winners? If you look at comparatively across the board, he's one of the biggest winners, right? Firstly, that V-Skill 2 has changed the matchups for this guy. It has changed. I think the Guile Cody matchup is now pretty much dead even, or maybe even slightly Cody. Honestly, maybe even slightly Cody. He can do it preemptively, and then just cancel it.
He can definitely react.
Yeah, and
you have to be focusing on it.
I'm going to get to that. Firstly, you can do it preemptively, right? Just thinking about someone might do something, right? You know, well, she's going to jump EX Phenom, and I'm just going to do it. We're this far away. What are you going to do? Cancel it and recover, right?
That's true because, yeah, he's in a counter hit state on recovery, but you're not.
But you're miles away. Yeah, you're miles away. So he's just doing it, right? And he's just trying to catch you, trying to do something and punishing it. Alternatively, he can also do it on reaction when he's looking for something. So a lot of the people who get in on him, who zone him out, like he can do it on reaction. And the hurt boxes on those fireballs as they recover, the sweep follow-up that he has tremendous range, right? So it's changed the neutral game for him in a number of the matchups that I think were arguably uphill for him prior. So suddenly he's punching toe for toe with some of these harder matchups, right? In addition to that, he got this freaking zonk change, right? And this zonk change, people are kind of sleeping on it right now because 300 frames is not a short amount of time. But this zonk change is a bit of a game changer too, because already he has the EX, which puts him in a good position, but now he's got access to some pretty cool extended damaging combos. He's also got that ability to get in and be plus, and I'm still trying to understand the cue, the kind of like the sound change to know that this is actually a plus zonk on block versus some of the EX ones versus the normal one that's negative. So there's that little mix up as well in the early stages that I think is going to catch people out, right? Now, in addition to that, right, and I'm going to say it because I sparked up a bit of a debate with you guys online, and I think 99.9% of you guys already agree with me. He's already got one of the absolute best V-triggers in the game. His V-trigger 2 is insane. It's just so freaking good and cool as well. I'm not even complaining about it. It's a great V-trigger. But for some reason, it's 2 bars. I mean, you've got characters out there with V-triggers that aren't half as good as that for 3 bars, right? And this guy's got a 2-bar V-trigger. Coupled with all this stuff he's been given as well, I think Cody could be a sneaky little guy just creeping up towards that top 10. You might see 1 or 2 guys just taken out by Cody, like, yo, I lost the Soundboy. Really? You never lost him before? I don't know, man. I feel like he got better. Yeah, Soundboy got better. But so did Cody, is all I'm saying.
We've got Hoji to look forward to this weekend as well, I think, in NA East. I think he's on that side.
I'd love to see him in there, yeah.
That's a good pick. I'm going to go for another left field pick, I think, actually. Character that no one really cared about and wasn't worried about unless you lived in the EU.
Was that Sakura?
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to guess. Go ahead.
Interesting one. So this character was looked at as one of the bottom characters in the game, but it was just really annoying. Always been really annoying. And a rubbish V-trigger as well. Just
okay,
a waste of
that rules out Alex. I was thinking Alex, but then you said rubbish
waste
V-trigger.
Of a V-trigger.
Not Alex, his V-trigger's decent.
But you know what? He's had buffs every single season, pretty much. And I feel like now, Vega is a real issue.
Preach!
Let me go through this.
Talk to him, Logan. Talk to him.
Whilst not a change, the addition of V-Skill 2 to that character that didn't have a real reversal, didn't have a good V-reversal. That V-reversal when you're in the corner is pretty useless unless you catch someone off. You're basically praying that they can't punish your V-reversal and they guess wrong because you did the fast one rather than the slow one.
Oh no, bro. You can option select that though, bro. You can option select it every single time.
V-Skill 2, however, invincible, projectile and strike invincible frame 1, which is great.
No, it's frame 3, isn't it?
No, it's projectile and strike invincible, frame 1.
No. I'm sure it's frame 2.
It's frame
1. 1.
It's frame 1 invincible.
You got hooked up.
It's -6 on block and not a counter hit, by the way, if they do the follow-up kick.
But you can always
But they
always
don't
punish it,
have
right?
to do the follow-up kick.
Yeah, but you can always punish
So
it.
you
even if they
have
do.
you have to option select it, which we can do. But boy,
What, on every button? Yeah, I guess you could.
I ain't got no Street Fighter 4 knockdowns. I'm not doing frame kills. And the other ridiculous, I won't even get to punishing it yet, right? It's airborne on the 6th frame. So if I try and walk up and throw you and give up my frame advantage, I better time that perfectly. Yeah, you can't do it on wake up. It's going to get thrown on wake up. But if I do a string, okay. Let's talk about punishing them.
But you get punished every time.
It's -6.
Yeah, right.
If they do the follow-up kick. That thing can be used as a poke in neutral. I've blocked that and it's been -3 at ranges where I've got no hope of reaching with anything. Do you know what I mean?
But you don't even get punished on -3 anyway, right?
Well, I mean,
You're a chem player.
Tatsu or DP, bro. It's fine. That is very easy to space. To be -4 at a range where your lights are not going to connect is very easy to space. And I see Vegas throw that in neutral all the time as a poke. He also got all manner of things that made him better in claw stance, which actually make him way more threatening in V-Trigger. And we'll talk about the V-Trigger as well. The standing medium punch claw range was buffed, which is already an annoying button.
I think that's what I actually think standing medium punch is one of the best buttons in the game.
He's just controlling you. But guess what? He's got more range where he can just buffer that and option select it into V-Trigger activation. No longer do they have to waste their V-Trigger on slide every single damn time.
They'll still do it though. Yeah,
They might
the
do.
Vega players, right?
They might do. But you know what? I've been watching them Vega players and they're out here actually trying to use their V-Triggers.
Oh yeah, because they've got certain access, haven't
And they're really getting some. If Vega's got 2 bars and V-Trigger, you don't want to get clipped by anything.
As well.
Because that V-Trigger now can get cancelled from specials as well. So he gets some real big combo extensions, which he didn't have before. And I almost forgot. I almost forgot to even mention
I'm waiting for you to say it.
He got a whole new move. He got a whole new move.
Oh, this move.
Sorry, I even forgot to say the air V-Trigger's buffed on block.
Yes.
He can just jump at you and be +2 in the corner.
Happy days. Oh, how do I get in? Oh.
But Sky High Claw, bruv, Sky High Claw is the new kunai release.
Oh, in the corner, it's guaranteed.
It's the new kunai release.
In
There's
the corner?
no way you're blocking that cross up. It's like completely the opposite to what you naturally want to do.
The animation's identical to the wall though. So you see him go yellow and come towards you. He's naturally blocking, right? You know?
And if you get hit by that and you V-Trick, GG's, bro.
Dude, I saw online the other day, I can't remember who Vega was. He had the V-Trigger, the guy was in the corner, and he just did EX wall done. And this guy was holding forward because he was just thinking, it's going to be...
This is already a character that has command grab loops, 3-frame button confirmable into combos, half decent Oki off of those combos as well. Flying Barcelona's still incredibly good, even though it got nerfed a little bit season 4?
Necessarily
Or
so,
season 3, I can't remember.
I think it was season 3.
It's still kind of nonsense.
It's still really good.
This character has just been slowly, like, you know when you go away and just stack up your paper and you come back and you're just a whole new look and no one even recognizes you anymore.
Sneaky, right?
This is what Vega's been doing for the last 3
They're going to be
years.
tweeting the crap. They're going to be hating the hell out
Bruv,
of you.
my phone's on silent.
You put them on blast.
I know they can. I know that they can.
Bomb's going to be like, Logan, shut the hell up, man.
I know they can sense me
Holy
speaking about
you
Vega.
can. What's he doing? Shut up, bro. They're going to be going crazy right now. Well, I'm with you though, so I'll take the heat too because the character is definitely way more relevant than he was.
We have actually got some clips, so we're going to throw some clips up of Vega.
Before you do that, can I just say, just so you don't get crucified by the Vega players, you don't consider him to be like a top 10
No, but
character.
he's one of those characters that you definitely need to worry about.
Okay, good.
Vega's one of those characters, and there's a lot of these. And
I agree.
This is a real general point, and this goes for Cody as well. There's a lot of characters where if you're a character specialist and you've stuck with that character, then you're getting rewarded for that. Yeah. If you're a Cody player, a Cody main, you've been rewarded. If you're a long-suffering Vega main, for whatever reason, I don't know why you would do that. Finally, after 5 years,
something about
it's paid off for you because your character can can challenge now. But yeah, let's see some of these clips. We'll be back on the other side with our last 2 picks for the most blessed characters in season 5. All right, it's time for our final picks.
Real skill. You see those real skill moments from Claw?
Yeah.
Footsies.
Just
Amazing.
confirm into a million damage Phoenix there, just showing how much damage that character can do.
So much fun.
Crazy.
Yeah, love it.
Who's your last name on the list?
I think you should go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who's your last name?
I've
got an interesting last name that I want to save for last.
Another character that I feel really benefited from a V-Skill 2. Poison.
Oh, okay.
She was already.
Oh, actually, yes.
She was already on the radar. You know.
Thanks to Adam.
I saw Adam. I saw Justin.
Yes,
at Canada
before
Cup.
Adam, Justin put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
Just with the nooch, right?
Yeah. Insane mid-screen damage off of the V-Trigger, the Molotov V-Trigger 1. But I felt like she didn't really benefit from the V-System. That V-Skill 2, it gives her better combo options now. Her better combo options are now great Oki also.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
It's a meterless corner escape. She can corner escape you and catch you unaware. It's punishable, but she can catch you unawares if you block anything and can side switch. Corpse hops. She anti-airs you. You can get put in a mix-up.
Yeah, she's now got mix-up on
cancelling crouch medium punch. So that in itself really fills the character out. I feel V-Skill 2 has made Poison a real character now. Before she was just an annoying, she kind of went around the rules of Street Fighter 5.
I think she was a real character before, but I think she's
a real
yeah, she's a proper problem now.
She got improved normals as well. The medium kick's now 7 frames, up from 8, which makes a difference because it's got great range.
It's a good bug.
The heavy kick as well was improved from 9 frames to 8 also. So, they're just general quality of life. They're the kind of buffs that kind of just stack up and creep up. They're not going to shoot, but it's on a list of things that improve with her. I think her CA being buffed is a really big deal. It was 13 frames, it's now 10 frames, so it's way more reliable to use as a tool on reaction, and you have to respect it on wake up. It also improved the forward hitbox as well, so it's way better at punishing projectiles if you try and get involved in the projectile.
Okay, actually, I actually didn't.
She's kind of susceptible.
I read that, but I didn't think of like what's the use case. That's
and then finally, for me, which is just really annoying, is EX Love Me Tender being an overhead. That's a round ender. But also
a stun confirmer.
It's only -4.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, bro.
I mean, you can shut up because Ibuki's only -2.
I mean, how fast was my overhead?
Doesn't matter, bro.
It matters.
Doesn't matter.
It matters.
It don't matter.
If you actually get hit crouching by my overhead, then you're a waste man. But poisons.
Just react to the flash, bro. It's really good.
It's Eleanor all
really
over again.
good.
Right? React to the flash, bro.
It's really good. I think she, on top of the things that she was already doing, and now people are really fleshing the character out, because of course she only came out after Evo, so we've had her less than a year. She's getting fleshed out, and she was really blessed.
Can I just say, on the poison topic, if you have an archetype like that, that's kind of designed to, well, who are we to say how it was designed? It appears that she was designed to zone you, to control you, and then maybe when she gets V-trigger, she can do some damage and bust your head if she needs to make a comeback. Actually, her damage output is maybe top 10 in the game. Her damage output is insane, man. Like, you make a mistake against Poison, you get hit by one of them delayed cancels into slash in your face, and then she activates V-trigger. Not even V-trigger activation, she just has meter. She does the backflip and goes into the extension and whips your head off, and then gets Oki after her max damage mixed screen combo. She's a problematic character. A lot of the Japanese players have been saying they think she's top 5, actually, which is interesting. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I can see the basis for the argument. Very hard with the limited data we have, but I think this is a really good pick from you, Logan, in terms of one of the biggest winners.
Thank you very much.
So she was really good in my opinion.
All right, I'm ready to hear your last pick.
Well, my last pick.
Who got the most buffs? Who's just like shot up? Who is it? Who's come from obscurity?
Let me tell you guys, because there's someone we're missing. There's someone we're missing here, right? Also, social distance. Sorry, there's someone we're missing, right?
You're
guys?
coming from a next angle now. Okay.
I'm telling
What's
you.
your angle?
I'm telling you guys, right? And a lot of people are gonna punch the sky in joy when I tell you this, right? One of the topic is biggest winner, right? Let's just specify what that actually means. Biggest winner. The biggest winner is not necessarily the person who received the most buffs, because as we've seen already, Claw received an insane amount of changes and it's still not a top 10 character, right?
What do you mean?
Let's look at Abigail, for example, right? He's a loser this season, but he's still relevant. He got some nerfs, some pretty harsh nerfs. Lost this free tap confirms that was just discovered. It's gone, right? And some other ones. He's been getting nerfed every season for the last few seasons. He's a bit of a loser, but he's still relevant.
He's been so good. He's had 2 mid-season nerfs,
and he's still relevant, right? That's how good he is.
He got nerfed before the tour even started this year. Crazy.
Imagine a character that's already better than Abigail.
Yeah.
That didn't even get nerfed like that.
Oh.
If we're talking biggest winners this season, we're not talking people who got buffs. We're talking people who didn't get nerfed, and you already know from what I'm saying who I'm talking about. Gee, what the hell happened there? Why did this guy not get nerfed? Not even a little bit.
He escaped impeachment.
Are you
I don't
serious?
understand what happened.
They took away one little bit of his V gauge, like that goes, that's it. This guy is sitting on the side watching the nerfs go round. Ibuki, Akuma, Karin, all these guys getting nerfed to limitations. Rashid, he's laughing. Listen, 801 Strider, Knuckle Dude, anyone else who has a G in their pocket, because everyone seems to have one, right? Brian F. I think the list can go on. They are over the moon right now, because if you're talking biggest winners this season, a character that is as cancerous as that already, not getting significantly nerfed, for me, that might just be the biggest winner this season for him staying almost exactly the same as he was before. Bear in mind, not only has he stayed the same, but characters around him have been somewhat weakened.
I think that's a really fair shout.
Yeah. I think G's a really big winner this season.
I think we knew about him in the West. America knew about him because pretty much every top player out there started picking him up and getting results.
You got so many of them. Yeah.
But clearly in Japan, not as highly regarded.
Oh, they've had to learn the hard way. They've had to learn the hard way.
We'll see what happens. But let's move on. That is our picks. We'd love to hear some of your picks as well.
What you think? Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter.
And by the way, guys, send the hateful tweets. Sure, I know you got your character loyalist points and that, but take it easy on us, all right? We just got to keep it real out here. No, you got to keep it real.
We're just being honest. Let's move on, because every week on the show we're going to look at community events. The amazing communities around the world that have all come together during this difficult time, this pandemic, and created some amazing online community events. There's been some great brands involved as well. All kinds of stuff going on. Some incredible fundraisers that have happened. We're going to pick a couple out that I feel, have really gone above and beyond. So we're going to look at 2 events that happened over the last week and a bit. The first one was by some people that I've got a lot of time for, from a community that I've got a huge amount of time for, and it's the guys at Blink Esports out of Dominican Republic. I had an incredible time. The first time I'd ever been to DR. Game over last year.
Yeah, I saw you there. That was awesome.
Beautiful country, beautiful people, in their hearts.
Super
Obviously, there were some really pretty people as well, but they were just,
I think the average is
so
1.5 out of 10.
So welcoming. It was an amazing experience. And even then, they put on that great exhibition between the Japanese players and the local DR players, which was super fun, really fun, and that was all put together by Blink Esports. They were looking at coming in again this year, and obviously travel restrictions came in and it wasn't able to happen. But what they've done is they put together 2 US-based events, inviting 16 of the best players from the East Coast and 16 of the best players from the West Coast. The East Coast event happened already, and this past week we had the West Coast event, which was 16 really great players invited in and competing. And in the end, no surprise.
Yeah, history restored.
It was Punk that took the title. So we're going to have a look at this grand final. Really exciting action. Some highlights from this, and we'll come back on the other side and talk a little bit more about that.
Will Samurai reset the bracket, or will Punk go out with a blaze of glory, take the All-Star Challenge Western Conference? Let me hear it in the chat. Let me see in the chat. 1 for Punk, 2 for Samurai.
Yeah, but these guys has definitely been playing a lot against each other.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know before this event started in the weekend that these guys played a 1st and 10 on Punk's stream.
Yep.
And apparently Samurai won. I actually got to go check the footage. I did not know that.
I'm definitely going to go check the footage. It was 10-8, right?
I think so. They just told me that Samurai actually won. So I actually want to see that footage. But I like that they just continuing on the saga and the rivalry, the friendly rivalry here at the Blink All-Stars Challenge, man. And it's grand finals, man. So are these guys officially the top 2 in the West Coast? Like, seriously, realistically. Warriors, talk to me. It was 10-6. Samurai won. Okay. Was it Punk won? Somebody told me Samurai won. Yo, hold up. Did Samurai try to whip on a standing medium kick with EX Demon Flip? Is that what I just saw there? And it was a trade?
I have no idea. I mean, it looked like it worked a little bit because he did get the flip out, but then the medium kick actually stuff.
Interesting.
Oh my
punishment.
gosh.
That was OD. Alright, Punk ain't playing no more. He wants to end this now.
Yeah. And no reason. EX Demon Flip to the palm. Works out, backdash, low court and tinker. Goes.
Stun City. Orochi.
My man didn't do no taunt, no nothing. Just right for the combo to get the kill.
Shoot.
He still needs a round though. If you're gonna get something on the board, he gotta
win this game right here. He has to win this game right here. If he wants to keep on par with Punk right now. And stay on par with the momentum. Alright. Scoop the back throw, alright. Gets all of that real estate back. Now Punk could definitely instill his will, especially now that Samurai's back into the wall. Alright. Look, walking him down. Hey.
I like how he has no problem fighting with his back to the wall. This Samurai. Universal red fireball. Forward throw. That's a bunch of gray light.
Here comes the EX Demon Flip.
Throws right there.
EX Demon Flip to get out. No, he got the super.
EX Demon dead. EX Demon dead.
Oh man. Damn, we gotta interview Punk if he wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you handle that, bro. That's all you. Oh, you like the end.
No. You're with me. You're with me.
No. Set point for Punk. Grand final. Okay, and that's exactly what I was talking about. The fact that Samurai likes to contend with buttons in the neutral, Punk was taking that against him. And now he's like, yo, you didn't learn? But look at Samurai with the life lead getting close to stun. Activation off of the hard kick. Samurai's back to the wall. Stand fireball.
Ooh, really?
Stay in the corner. No. You're still in timeout. Stay in the corner.
Oh my God.
Punk has been making those reads all weekend. Jab in. Once again, he didn't learn. Punk's like, bro, how many times? Samurai, you got to do something. Full CA available. He's just doing stand light kick. Any hit is going to kill. He's getting meter.
Yeah. There it is. Oh my God. A string into Orochi. It's a super. It's definitely gonna close this out. There it is.
Oh, the counter hit, man. What if he did DP fireball? That would have been godlike. But that will be that. Punk, Panda Global's Punk gets the big W. Your grand champion here. The Blink All-Star Challenge Street Fighter V Championship Edition Western Conference will be none other than Panda Global's Punk. Also on the follow-up, we have nice showing by Samurai. Coming back through losers to get another run back at Punk, but it's not going to work. No, nothing doing, but he had to take out my boy Snake Eyes, who was, of course, number 3, who gets that third place showing. Still good payout, $3,500 for first place. $1,000 for second place, $500 for third place, and that will be that. Man, it was still a really good tournament, man. We had the East, we had the West represented, man, with some great sets all around, man.
So there you have it, Punk taking the win. Very interesting kind of story behind that. And we've seen these rivalries build up in North America. Of course, you've got Idom and Knuckle D on the East Coast. But this Punk and Samurai rivalry's kind of been building as well. This competitive rivalry. It's not like a beef or a war of words. They played each other in a first to 10 after Punk's Black Lives Matter charity stream that he ran the other day. It was like the final boss. And Punk ran the set, and Samurai won.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Because Samurai's history against Punk is actually pretty lopsided. So to see him win a set like that, super impressive.
But there you see why Punk is the alpha. He brought it back in the grand finals there at Blink Esports and got the job done. It's really cool to see, Karen again getting the job done, and we throw it back. Karen's still there. She is the first character to get into the Capcom Cup as a qualifier. Punk's still out here putting in work. It's looking all right.
Yeah, listen, Karen, for me, fundamentally, one of the best defensive options you have in this game is walk back. Tiny little walk back. And it's very effective. If you do it against Ken, you get a crouch medium into DP confirm if they're good enough to do that.
Takes a bit of concentration.
Takes a lot of practice and
bit of risk as well, because you know what? You do it on block, you're going shine to the sky.
Exactly, right.
Cross counter punch.
If you do it against Ryu, you get crouch medium, it's fine, but okay, dash, you've got some Oki up there. Ibuki, maybe get some characters don't even have cancelable lows like Ibuki. If you don't have V-Trigger, you just get a crouch medium.
Chun-Li, at least Chun-Li can throw out an EX legs. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Little bar stuff will confirm into whatever it might be. But Karen takes away that option completely, which just opens up, and someone who's so good at mind games like Punk, it opens up this whole avenue for him to express himself on your defensive choices, right? So he can walk up to you more than another character can, because you're so scared to walk back. The crouch medium hits and you lose so much damage and stun.
Yes.
And it's like guess away from stun now. So you're sitting there a lot of the time. You want to risk pressing a button. She's got medium into medium, true strengths. So I still feel like Karen, the nerfs don't change a high level player significantly.
Not how she plays,
no.
Right? Not how she plays at that high level.
Extremely impactful. You might get a slight better chance of getting on, right? Because obviously the stun went down on some of the
Yeah, I think it takes. Last season, I would agree with you. She hits you once, burns those 2 bars, puts you in the corner. You guess wrong, you're stunned.
That's it. Yeah.
Now I think that's not so much.
I think most characters are okay. I think if you're like a Seth or something like that, maybe you are
a Kuma or a Kami or something.
Maybe you are still in that situation. Actually, I think you definitely are, because I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that this season already. So she's still a very unforgiving character and a very fundamentally sound character. When you talk about risk as well, she doesn't have to take that much risk.
I mean, there's a reason why his screen name is Take My Throw.
Yeah, please do.
Because
right?
he's giving you good advice. He's actually giving you good advice.
Or die.
Shout out to the guys for putting that together. One of the things that I really loved about that Blink Esports event, by the way, I have to say, that I'd not seen many people do. I've seen it kind of done before, but it was so thorough. The artwork. Did you see the cartoons?
So cool. I'm
caricatures?
I'm jealous. Give me one. Hey, maybe one, guys. Come on, man. I'm there for it, man. Hook me up, man.
I mean, I'm definitely jealous of Yipes and Tasty Steve. They got some awesome caricatures. Yeah, incredible. And that just going that extra yard to make your team look legit.
And it also stands out in a unique way as well. So it's not only legit, but it's also unique. This is your unique event with this unique look and feel. Yeah. I love the branding execution of that event, and the event lived up to that uniqueness as well in its execution. Yeah, I can't wait to see what more comes from Blink Esports, and thank you for giving it to the community. We are going to continue to cover awesome events that happen. So if you've got a big Street Fighter 5 event, please hit me up and let me know. We'd love to check it out, and if we get the time on the show, we'll talk about it. I know these events happening all over the world as well.
Exactly. I want to shine some lights on some more communities, and that's why I specifically picked Blink Esports. Yes, it was West Coast, East Coast of America, but they're out of the Dominican Republic. Wow, it's been a long day. And I just love that Latin American community.
It's an amazing scene.
They brought through some great players like Mena and Kaba.
They got a champion, right? They got a historic champion.
But they've got a great community, and they're doing great things, and I love to see it. We're going to move on, though. Another incredible community event that has been running for a very long time here in Europe, and there's a lot to be said about it, is Salt Mine League. They had their finals the week past.
Big up.
And no surprise to anyone that follows European competition, the people that are in grand finals, it was Problem X and Hurricane. Let's take a look at that, and we'll talk a little bit about that rivalry and the Salt Mine League on the other side.
Including this grand finals, the run back. It is Hurricane versus Problem X, the Salt Mine. Oh, look at this! Abigail X.
This is a treat, people.
So impressive.
Heavy punch.
I feel like that was the first time he got hit like in that kind of a neutral situation.
Yeah, didn't get much off it either. Oh, whiffs the throw. Didn't get a big conversion off that though. Both them playing so patient. Look at the clock right now. 30 seconds on the dot. Problem X. Lower on health right now, but we saw this before, right? He'll let that click down, and when you think it's all safe and all over, he gets one good firm into super, makes up the difference and more.
Still got the critical art over there. And if he can just get that hit again in the same kind of situation and just activate. Oh, is he going for it again?
Oh my god!
He got it! Look at that! Hurricane over! It's not gonna... Okay, 3 seconds
He's got the lead!
2-1, get away! Oh god, what a block! You know what? Even
Put up the Max!
Even if she had started the throw animation would have taken too long, so that was smart by Problem X.
Problem trying to file the corner, and this will definitely help. A crush counter. Back heavy gets the Oki, the EX command grab. Oh my god, you are bleeding.
Just to get the stun. Look at that. Problem X going for all the meter. He had 3 bars. EX command grab, EX, and there you go. Gets the stun.
But Hurricane not out of this just yet. Still fighting to stay alive. Wants to prevent that reset bracket. I mean, I would want to too. You know, you don't want to let someone like Problem X get hot, but if you miss your dive kicks like that, you are gonna get smattered, clobbered.
Is going to kill. Yes, it is.
Absolutely. That's gonna put Problem X to reset the bracket and pull Hurricane down and loses with him.
In the battle here in the final set for the season 6 champion, couldn't whip punish it in time.
A little more recovery than you thought. However, Hurricane's got him against the wall. 30 seconds on the clock. Want to confirm? So on the other side, trying to mix him up. No go. Just try to activate up the slide. And that's one thing you have to watch out now for his Hurricane. Like, how is he going to activate? Is he just going to do the sweep activation, heavy punch activation? Which one? Either way, you got to be ready, prepared, and react.
Hurricane has a big enough life lead. He can just chill. Lord Problem X doesn't even have... Oh, there it is. Red Noble crouching heavy kick into activation. punched it, and Hurricane now is on the board versus Abigail. Finally gets it to 1-0, because remember, this is the reset bracket. Every player has to be sent to loser's bracket before they can get eliminated.
What is going on, James? This is supposed to be Problem X's, right? He was doing so well, but what happened during this reset?
Just playing better and playing smarter, I guess. I don't know, but or maybe what's going on is that Problem X doesn't feel like blocking anymore or something, because he just got hit by like 4 jump-ins in a row.
Man's holding forward the controller instead of back. Mix up the buttons. It's a counter hit though.
Yeah, no quick rise. Problem X's timing, but he's just fine. He's getting no quick rise from Hurricane either. That was enough. Wow, I was not expecting that to kill.
But you gotta be careful with those. Problem X, 1 crush counter, 1 big button, 1 medium punch. Didn't get the conversion, unfortunate. Hurricane's inside right now. He's not leaving.
And again, Hurricane just doing such a good job playing this slow game right now, playing this footsie game. Abigail's a little tall. It's harder to catch him on the shins. Oh, but again, that whip punch.
Oh no! So the distance, it could have been so much more. Crushing medium punch, crushing medium kick does not confirm, but the EX will. Problem X is still in it.
Raw Abigail punch. That almost looked like it had invincibility there. The dive kick almost just kind of like went right through it. And then Abigail and Problem X putting themselves on the board.
He's holding back on the controller now.
Yeah, but you see them standing at the distances that they want to be. So Hurricane's always going to try to stand at that distance so we can whip punch. So make sure that the standing heavy punch misses so we can drill it. Oh my God, he tried to whip punish that, but very lucky that Problem X just stood up and got hit. Very even in life after that anti-air. No uppercut. Gets the activation. Good patience from Problem X. So Hurricane goes. Yeah, he says, you know what? You're not gonna try to stop me out of this. You're gonna take the throw, so I'm gonna take my 100 and some odd damage right here.
Better than taking worse. Problem X. Everything's whittling down. Don't let it be a timeout. Hurricane is in the lead right now, and he's got CA, so you really can't do much. If your Problem X is you get clipped, there is a ton of life that this character has. 10 seconds are on the clock, James. 9 seconds, and that's a confirmed. Hurricane could have had it. He backs up just to let the time happen. It is Hurricane.
2, 1. Yes,
it's Hurricane.
There it is. Hurricane is the Season 6 Salt Mine League champion. Congratulations to Hurricane. He's going to do it with the Cammy, and a valiant effort there from Evo champion Problem X, bringing it back, resetting the bracket with a 3-0, but then Hurricane just too strong with that Cammy.
So that time, Hurricane did manage to get the better of Problem X, and what a fun set that was, back and forth.
So fun watching it.
Really, you should probably go back and watch the archives, because there was Winners Final as well, and it kind of brings me to talk about the legacy of the competitive rivalry between Problem X and Hurricane, because not just both great players in the London community, and we know so much about them, we've seen them over the years and followed them around the world, but their characters are just so opposed as well. You know, Problem using Bison mainly, having to go to Abigail, Cammy. The Cammy's so tricky for Bison to deal with, very difficult for Bison to deal with, but also not incredibly easy for Abigail to deal with. And they end up having these real back and forth sets, really entertaining sets.
Really good, and the way they adapt to each other when they play, there's so many little intricacies that you'll notice the more you watch these two play. The way that when they read each other, the reads are like they're so like galaxy brain, like 3 steps ahead when they actually read each other, because they just know each other so well. And when you see something obscure happen that hits, it's because they were going for some crazy anticipation that you probably have no idea what it was, but they play each other that much, and it gives you a really good understanding and feel for that matchup as well. The Bison Cammy matchup and the Abigail Cammy matchup. I could watch those guys play all day, to be honest. I've watched so many hours and I'm still not bored of watching those two play.
I remember being at, I think it was NCR last year, and Problem X was there. Hurricane wasn't traveling at the time, and Problem X was there in the lobby, and he had a setup on the table. Yeah. And Problem X played every Cammy that he could find from Asia, and he beat all of them with Bison.
Crazy.
And that is a hard matchup.
That's not a
a tough matchup for Bison. Probably one of his most difficult matchups.
I agree.
You know, Bison's got a load of great tools on the ground, but you jump at him and you can mess around with your jump arc, it becomes very difficult. It's one of his things that he's most susceptible to. And Problem, of course, has all that experience in dealing with that. Hurricane, of course, only very recently was able to break out onto the world scene because he is originally from Cameroon, moved to the UK to study, and he's working there. He wasn't able to travel outside of the UK due to his visa, but I think it was last year or the year before. 2018. Was it 2018?
2018, yeah.
He had his first trip to America to go to Evo.
Wow.
Finished 17th.
What?
You know, he beat some incredible high-level players and barely missed out to beating Phenom.
He should have beat Phenom. If he'd have stuck with Cammy, I still think he would have beat. To this day, I still give him a stick about that. I think he would have beat Phenom. He switched to Abigail.
Abigail's not doing it.
Yeah. He's a very good player, but his Abigail, man. I mean, yeah. but Hurricane, also I must add about this weekend, and also this whole situation that's been going on, because this isn't the only event. And a massive shout out to the Salt Mine guys. Let's mention them a bit more before we move on. But before we talk about those guys specifically, this setting, this pandemic, it's not a blessing for anyone. It's a terrible situation. We wish everyone well. But if there are some slight positives to take from it, it's that guys like Hurricane and Phenom, who were kind of born in this online environment, absolutely flourished.
I mean,
he said it himself. He said it himself, right?
It makes me so eager to see this EU West event that's coming up in July, because you know we got some great players that I think we've got 6 or 7 Warlord rank players just in the UK after Infectious recently got Warlord as well. So we've got a lot of Warlord rank players, which means not only are they really good players, but they're very proficient online.
Oh, exactly.
And they're going to be battling it out for one spot. I do not envy Problem X, because he has to, he's got so much expectation on him in this region, but there's so many deadly players.
And there's so little
on their day, I would say at least 6 or 7 of those players can beat Problem X in a 2 out of 3 set.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to be really focused into that. You'd hope that over 2 tournaments, which is what we have in EU West, he'd be able to come through and his quality shine through. But you know what? Exactly, it's going to be one of those things where you just don't know. It's online. It's 2 out of 3. There's a lot of killers there,
and data's been hard to collect as well, because a lot of these guys have been opting out of these.
Some of them. I mean, you saw Phenom not involved.
Phenom's not really been
Obviously,
involved.
He's in EU
Luffy
East.
doesn't really enter Salt Mine League. He entered his own one, but not really Salt Mine League. Infectious is completely out. He's just playing online. That's it. Even guys like Gunslinger, who's he's Warlord as well, right? I hardly see him enter these local events. So there are killers out there who.
And then you've got guys that are really awkward, like Broski, who's a Warlord Dulcim. He's also got Seth now. Brian coming through with Seth, who's not Warlord rank, but there's so many good players, so it's really exciting to look forward to. Anyway, props to the Salt Mine League guys, based out in Germany. Big up Rita, so I have to give you your props. They've been running that Salt Mine League for the online community from way before there was any kind of pandemic, and they really set the pace. They've mastered the online tournaments.
Super organised.
It's
as well.
so smooth.
Super organised.
So
I actually entered as a player, and the experience from a player perspective was super impressive, the way that they got that down to a T.
I mean, the only thing that I could maybe equate it to would be like the Reddit Street Fighter tournaments that have been running online as well regularly. So shout out to you guys anywhere in the world. If you're putting that work, that time and effort, and I know how hard it is to operate tournaments, especially in an online environment, thank you. You are a blessing. You're keeping the community going. You're giving a platform for competitive players that otherwise we might not know about. The guys like Fasa and Lohai that I've seen in Salt Mine League that have come through. The
4 Phils. I mean, we've seen him already, but seeing him at Salt Mine, he was just getting more regular.
Hype, very hype. I have to say big up to James Chen.
I was just about to say, they're also giving exposure to commentators as well, right?
And of course me and you. We done before. Shout out to Damascus also. Right, let's move on. Big up Salt Mine League. We are going to talk about the event that is coming up this weekend. And the conversation that everyone is focused on when it comes to NA East is what is happening with the champ.
Right. The reason I entered CPT Alliance is just because I like playing the game. There's some people out there everyone's like, oh, I'm playing for the money, I play for that. I just like playing the game. to me. That's really it. I mean, gatekeeping is like, it's FGC culture at this point now. I mean, it happens to everyone. Happened to me twice, unfortunately, but makes you stronger. So, yes. If you lose to me, unfortunate. Yeah, I feel like not having the pressure of like having to win the tournament because I'm already qualified, so I might just wake up jab every time. I might not take every throw. I might just go for every command grab. It's like, I have no pressure. If I lose, I lose. I'm just going back to sleep for all that matter. Being champion, nice, but like even still, I would like to defend my like title, like go to all the tournaments. It's always fun to go to all the tournaments. I feel like I got a lot better last season because I went to more tournaments. Like my first premiere, my first open premiere was like Combo Breaker 2019, and like I got top 8 at that tournament. So I feel like, and I got to play a lot of casuals. I played a lot of sets with a lot of good players. So like every time I went to like a premiere Combo Breaker CEO, it's just I was grinding all the time. So I feel like that really helped a lot. But it kind of sucks like what's going on now. So I mean, you just gotta what life gives you. I mean, that was the plan this year, but like everything that happened, I wanted to like travel to like Europe, Dominican Republic. That was like, I had a lot of plans to go to like other countries this season, but stuff happened. Main reason is like I was like searching for like opportunities, but like the season now and like I'm not doing anything. Like literally most of the time, just not doing anything. I'm in my house most of the time now since like COVID and all these protests and everything's going on. So like I'm just trying to stay safe myself. I'm not trying to like take any risk. And it's like I don't think many sponsors like online tournaments anything crazy. So I'm chilling. I'm laying back. I'm like not looking for it. Oh, I'm not surprised everyone's here. Old faithfuls like Karen and Rashid still. It's just more when you get comfortable with a character, I feel like you shouldn't switch. I feel like that's a bad habit that a lot of players have, where it's like, oh, my character got nerfed, trying to switch, trying to dump my character. Like even in season 2 when Laura got nerfed, I was like, I'm still gonna play her. She's probably still my most confident character. I think sticking with your guns is easy.
Phenom, the reigning Capcom Cup champion 2019. We had a chat with him. We're going to run that in a minute. But I want to talk about his come up has been sensational. I think one of his first tournaments that he entered was Combo Breaker last year in terms of traveling. And I'm pretty sure he made top 8 at every tournament he went to.
He had some.
It was an incredible run.
He had a ridiculous.
He didn't leave America.
He didn't get to enter as many tournaments as others. But when he went, he'd always have a devastating.
Incredible performance from him.
I'd love to see that stat. Maybe get Glenn to bring that up.
Yeah, we'll definitely mention it this weekend when we look through that and analyze it. But Idol, is he going to be entering these tournaments? He's allowed to. Is he going to be the gatekeeper? Well, let's find out what he has to say directly from the horse's mouth. So run the Idol interview video.
How long is that?
It's only 3 minutes. We're going to come back in. Me and Femi are going to talk about IDOM gatekeeping, how it's affected him, what we think in general about gatekeeping, and then I'm going to transition into the strength of competition online in the East Coast, because I think it arguably has the strongest regular tournaments in the world. 5, 4, 3. So there you have it. He signed up. I can see his name on the Smash GG. He's in the bracket.
Well. How unfortunate for some of the other guys.
2 years in a row. 2017 and 2018. He was gate kept out by Punk and Do. They were gone clear, and they were still going around those ranking events, picking up points that they didn't need. Prize money that they probably didn't need, a few $100. It weren't no premier prize pools. But now, he said, to quote him directly, gatekeeping, it's about the FGC. You can't beat me. Unfortunate.
Hey, look, he's already gatekept his arch nemesis rival and also gatekeeper in Punk in the Capcom Cup finals, right? So he probably got a taste for it there and thought, you know what? It's nice to be on the other side.
Is this going to be a running theme? What do you think in general? Because Phenom's threatening to gatekeep. Idon's definitely in there. Looks like he's going to be trying to gatekeep as well. Like, what's your thought on this?
So honestly, I think in the Idol scenario, it's actually slightly different from the Phenom scenario.
Yeah.
I think you always got to be thinking about the audience as Capcom. So I understand the rule setting with this, right? As well as the players, of course, right? One is not necessarily more important than the other. So for me, in order to find that fine balance, I think the rule setting they've got for guys like Phenom, who've already qualified now, I think that's actually quite harsh. I don't think Phenom should be allowed to enter.
He doesn't win prize money.
He doesn't win prize money.
If you qualify for Capcom Cup, you have a guaranteed payment of $1,000 for getting to Capcom Cup. You don't get that again for winning the next tournament.
Exactly.
So you're literally just playing. I mean, you can say you're playing for practice, but really you're gatekeeping.
Yeah, you're gatekeeping. But also
on the other side, though, if you win again,
before we even get to the other side, also in that scenario, I mean, look, I hate to call it out, but we saw Infectious fly all the way to Japan to play against Punk, right? Or in an exhibition, an amazing exhibition, but really more for honor than anything else. There was not really anything on the line, right? And Punk just rocked Poison the whole way through. Now, fantastic for Punk, he got to try Poison out. You know, pretty good for Infectious too, I guess. He got to experience a unique character. But from an audience perspective, it actually sucks. Right? It does. No, let's be honest.
It wasn't a competition.
We would have all loved to see Punk's Karin versus Infectious's.
I was in
Zeku.
Kuwait, in the hotel. We watched it in the middle of the night. It was a wash.
Yeah, it was dead. It was dead. And we know Infectious is not that much better than Punk, right? And Punk is the more superior player if we're talking accolades. But in terms of capabilities, these guys are kind of on par. We wanted to see what happened there. But there's nothing on the line. Punk's got every right to pick Poison for that. So what you're going to see this weekend, most likely, sorry, not this weekend, but when Phenom re-enters, is Phenom's like dead Cammy, you know, jumping around having some fun. Maybe you'll see his Chun-Li, which is actually a pretty strong Chun-Li, going around. But you're not going to see the most optimal back against the wall version of Phenom because he doesn't need to be. So it's actually, from an audience perspective, it's not the best scenario. Now, on the flip side, because you're going to talk about the outside, but on the flip side for Idon, I do agree. Because if you're a spectator, you should not have to wait until the end of the bloody season or even next year, whenever it's going to happen, to see the champion play. I think it's great that someone who's already auto-qualified via winning the championship, you still get to see them play.
I definitely feel bad for him as champion that he doesn't get to travel around the world and play in all of the international tournaments against the best players in the world.
Well, he doesn't travel
and defend.
though, right,
well, he would this year, obviously.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Did he say?
Yeah,
he'd actually go on a plane and go to Europe.
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
Oh my God! At last, let's get him there. Let's get him
ready
there.
to go around and travel, and we've kind of been robbed of that. But I mean, he made a really good point. He's like, where he said, "I've got no pressure on me, so I might just mash jab all the time. I might just take every throw. I might command grab you at every opportunity. I might channel the spirit of Jacques Vin Jacques and hit you in overheads in the middle of my combo and hit. You don't know what he's going to do, and he has nothing on the line.
Yeah, so true.
And
it's so true.
That's terrifying because he's basically having a fun time in his house.
And he plays one hell of a character to have nothing on the line. Like, wow. That's a pretty scary sight for the guys.
Yeah, he's playing completely free, so I'm really looking forward to it. Free and easy. Do I think that he should be involved? I guess that if he wins, it doesn't matter because second place. But there's going to be some feel bads for the people that he beats on the way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
It depends on what the seed in, your brackets and what have you. But yeah, for entertainment value, I definitely want to see.
I
want to see all the players in the bracket. Yeah. I've already been robbed of the best international players in the world playing each other every week almost, every other week.
Yeah.
Don't rob me of seeing the best players playing in their own region as well. Speaking of which, I want to talk about that region because I saw recently I had a discussion on social media in response to Arturo Sanchez.
Yeah.
This is before everything was locked down. This is before the pandemic came.
Yep.
And he said that NLBC is as strong as a Premier every week. And I thought, you know what? That's a bit of an exaggeration. But talk your stuff. because NLBC at that time, you know, they had people coming in. They had the world champ. They had Smug, who's made multiple top 8s of premieres. They got a world champ of 2016 and do's multiple premieres. They had the reigning, not the reigning, the runner-up, obviously. Punk is the highest point scorer ever in Capcom Pro Tour history, alongside players that were around like Jill Kevin, who was getting involved. Who else did they have down there? Shine, who's an incredible young talent. He's been there in that system for a long time. Legends like Arturo Sanchez and Sanford Kelly. It's a really whilst I might not agree that
also to add to that, the finals, right?
Yeah.
The finals was Punk versus Capcom Cup finals. Punk versus that. So people would say, well, the Asians aren't there. Well, the Asians were there at Capcom Cup.
That's true. That's true. So for me, saying that it's a premiere was maybe a bit over the line, but if you were to ask me what's the strongest weekly event in the world, NLBC. And to be honest with you, it's only got stronger. Yes, Punk's left that region. It has only got stronger, absolutely. But if you look at the East Coast, you know, they're getting all the players every week in from Florida, you know, from Philadelphia, players that can't travel
to NLBC
to next level every week. Boy, they're logging in, and you're seeing players come through like real exciting talents like
Leon. I think I've seen him.
Prophet. Is it Space Boy, the Sakura player?
Space Boy. Yeah.
You've got Burkish entering, another talent. There's great players there. For me, I think the East Coast region, especially because it doesn't look like there's anything going on in Tokyo in terms of regular tournaments online. I think it's the strongest.
The strongest regular event right now. I think I agree.
I think in general in that region, because you've got other events happening as well on the East Coast.
Yeah, of course.
And no one's holding back. They're all entering. It's every week may as well be CPT online for them. They're all playing, and I'm so hyped to see.
I'm scared to see. I mean, how do you pick the names that we're going to have? We've gone through a bunch of events we're going to have, and the limited numbers you're going to have of qualifiers by the end of the year. The names that are not going to qualify this year,
it's crazy. It's crazy. We'll talk about that. I want to run some highlights though, because we got some highlights put together of the last couple of weeks of NLBC Grand Finals, and you can see the caliber, the quality of what's going on, and just how successful Idom's been. To be honest with you, let's roll the footage, and we're back on the other side with our predictions for the NAEs this weekend.
Brian F. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the stream. Reset incoming, perhaps. Or perhaps Space Boy can just clean it up the first set because Space Boy's been playing godlike today. No respect. Ooh, he tried to trade there, but instead he ate the fireball clean. This is really bad. Now he has to worry about stun, too. That stun bar's not going anywhere for a while. Space Boy fights his way out of it. Very nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What can we do? Oh my god, you're staying in this corner. Ooh! Nice. Oh, he's alive, he's alive! No! I don't think he wanted that. Damn. I don't think he wanted that. Damn. Yo, Idom, the god, bro. Alright, GG's. GG's, everybody. Grand final. The matchup is going to be, it looks like Urien versus Laura this time. Damn, this was looking like a brickish round, but now he's in the corner. No, he can't get away. Damn, he had to do so much effort just to get away from the mix. Oh, no! That was his chance to anti-air and say Idom gets in. Reset! Damn, that's done. It's over. It's over. Overkilled. That reset was ridiculous. Damn, that was the no mercy reset though. That was the done. Yeah, the G blender. That's what he's opting for. And Idom went straight to poison. I feel like if Brian just does, it might be too late. Oh my god, she has an instant overhead. Really? Really? Holy shit! He's so broken. What is he human? Is this a person or a fucking robot? Okay, let's go. Nice. Got the hit. Come on, Brian. Get him out of here. I want to see it. Oh my god. I don't think so. I could be wrong though. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. He's got the corner. That's Mr. Joey. No, that's a punish. No more corner for you, bro. Sorry. And you get scooped. Plus frames. Really plus, by the way. That was about as late as it can hit. Nice. Great anti-air by Joey. And then you're waiting for an uppercut, but Shine did not bite this time. Probably been punished enough times. The V-trigger was not very scary, and Joey escapes with a trigger activation of his own. Uppercut. Into the combo. Oh, man. That was sick. Shine. Damn. That was a clutch mid-screen corner carry. And then immediately with the meaty follow-up. Everybody that donated to the match arena or used those free coupon codes, 1/2 of what you donated also went to support Henry Sen and Next Level during the downtime of COVID. We've seen from Shine in a while. Tossed. Woo! Don't get stunned. No, just as I said it. And Shine is looking to take NOBC 2 in a row. Final round, set 1, no matter what happens. Big dive kick miss for Knuckle Dude. Great backdash. Come on, Brian. Let me see a reset. Back throw. Looking for the corner. He bited this time, though. He didn't want to eat an uppercut. Early V-trigger. Damn, threw him right out of the V-reversal. Knuckle Dude looking great into the critical art. It's not enough. It's going to do a huge grip, though. And we're going to get a nice knockdown. Knuckle Dude looking for just a little more. The command grab of the V-trigger 2 is mad scary right now. Dive kick missed. Another huge one for Brian. Not going to matter. And Knuckle Dude, dang, guys, he is your winner once again. Next Level Battle Circuit Online Edition number 9. And props to Knuckle Dude. Good games, man. One thing I love doing is when I'm done working at a big tournament, I definitely love watching the top 8 and just, you know, talking shit with everybody around me, who I think's going to win, who I favor, who I would like to win, hear what their opinions are. It gets fun when you're both invested in the match, right? And each guy cheers for like their person that they want to take it. Shine's invested in this win. Ouch. How many perfects, by the way, can Shine get without having a win on the board? Point advantage for him here.
Nah, stop it, Havoc. Smoke's obviously a great player. Like, it's just that in this tournament, it's OG,
tournament's no joke, man. The block strings have been really dangerous. One item actually goes for like one of his long-winded, bigger block strings. Probably eating those.
Green Space Boy put Idom in losers, but you know, like he's been a loser before. Good luck beating him twice, but
it's hard to take him out
twice.
Anti-air.
Yeah, like he definitely needs that Fiat substance. Like, oh, what an EX shoulder. Stun.
That's stun.
Perfect.
Golden letters.
No, I don't just steamroll. You like
that first game that he took at the first set was amazing.
And he could have taken the second game too, but he choked. Like, okay, nice from Profit. Showing signs of life. Overhead roundhouse. Go. Those
another. Oh, no. He might go for the trifecta. Oh, tricked.
Yo, he's forcing the reversal. Done.
Oh no. Now he does not have a V-trigger available because he had to use that V-reversal.
Yo, you actually get the block a little bit more, or get the crush counter. Okay, this is doable. Good job, Profit. Ooh,
so close. Okay, he's blocking it out. He needs to block this mix. Oh, this is bad. Does have the Aegis. Doesn't have much else. Block strings. Wow, that was a cross up.
Too tough to block.
That was an actual cross.
Another day at the office, guys.
Good job, Idom. You're such a beast, man. He is actually ridiculous.
Stop beasting, man.
Seriously, I don't even know what to say, man. Yep. All right, so here we go, guys. Grand finals.
You
And
beat
Space Boy
him.
needs 2 to reset it. Damage, my goodness.
He's in trigger. He's in
Okay,
trigger.
that was a
but,
trigger
It's
combo.
not damage though.
His trigger confirms are great.
Wall, and you get. Okay, never
Uh-oh.
mind. Elbow.
Combo.
Okay, active trigger into Oki. What kind of Oki is that? Yes, a grab.
Wow.
Just do it.
I don't feel the pressure. He be reversal now.
The Sakura's buffers and
Nice low pierce. Oh, no anti-air there. It's okay. It's okay. You still have your checker, Space Boy. We cheer for you.
Anti-air, yes.
Nice anti-air.
Yo, Space Boy. Those EX buffers.
Offensive reversal, huh?
Right on.
Oh, congrats. Blocked out.
Oh, Idam's so godlike, guys. He's so beastly.
I don't think you can even argue against it, even if you wanted to, that the East Coast right now in North America has the strongest regular.
Not logically. I
online
mean, if you're an
competition.
absolute bellend, you might. But, if you got a brain, there's no debate here. I mean, the and the fact that Idol's winning that regularly.
Well, he hasn't. He went on a streak, right? He went on from Capcom Cup. He was winning that every week, and then finally Knuckle Dude broke the streak.
Yeah, he turned up, yeah.
Passed through. But yeah, it's only been 3 players I think that have won. Idom, Do, and Shine. Shine won as well.
Shine won.
But
Shine,
now that,
Shine's a fantastic player, but there was a few players absent when he won, right? If I remember.
potentially, I'm not entirely sure.
But still, Shine's a ridiculous player.
But yeah, we're looking ahead at NA East because we're about to wrap it up now. But NA East is obviously this weekend, Saturday. You can catch all the action on Capcom Fighters. We'll be bringing you the pre-game show as always with round 1 before the tournament starts. You'll be able to join us, catch up. We'll talk about some of the players we're looking forward to see. But I'm going to pick out a few right now before we sign out and just really get you guys excited because, you know.
How do you pick? I mean, there's so freaking many, Logan.
I have to say, like, Smug hasn't really been entering NLBC. He's been focusing more on his content creation and streaming.
Yep.
We haven't
He's
really
got his own
seen
events as well, of course, you know.
Yeah, so, but he's signed up. Literally, think of a player on the East Coast, they've basically signed up. You've got all the 3 names that we mentioned that win NLBC.
Yep.
You've got Smug, you've got legends like Sabin, and Sanford Kelly hasn't signed up.
Sanford Kelly hasn't signed up?
Not that I can see.
Definitely
I didn't see him there. I may be mistaken, but.
I mean, Sabin alone, like we've seen him send Idom, and I think even Punk to losers bracket in LBC. So this is another guy who we don't even talk about, right? As a top player, this is a legendary top player who could just turn up and have a day.
And they've got great players that are even outside of the region. So you've got Brian F, who's a threat. You've got Rob TV, who's had a sensational come up this season.
Really improved.
Looking real strong. You've got Jewel Kevin. Burkish. Burkish is a player that hasn't really travelled, and we've not really seen him play offline.
This
but
is a great thing
he did
about
really well in the East Coast online last year, CPT online last year. There's loads of threats. Zaffarino looking mad strong as well. I'm really looking forward to this tournament because I can promise you, from having watched NLBCs, there will be blow-ups.
Yeah, absolutely, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
This is so difficult, right? Because it's basically like going to the strongest weekly in the world, and you have to pick the week that you want to win, because you've got 2 CPT online tournaments, which is as strong as your weeklies anyway. Everyone's signed up. The competition is crazy, and you have to go, right, this week is the week that I want to win. You don't get to decide that, boy. There's players out there that are just looking for take names. They might not even be expecting to win. It's one, winner takes all. There's only space for one. But they want to make a name for themselves. They want to get in that highlight reel. They want to get Twitter clips. They want to take your head clean off your shoulders and kick you out of the tournament, send you losers, eliminate you. They're all gunning for it.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not a real challenger for the whole thing. And that's
It
stress.
significantly contrasts to Europe as well, which we've seen in Europe. We've had some regular attendees, but a lot of the top players in Europe aren't really attending the casual events. Whereas NLBC, anyone has probably entered at least 1 or 2 of them, and now you've got this online CPT where everybody's going to be there and gunning for it. it's just an absolute bloodbath. I can't call it. It's a very difficult one to predict. Of course, we've got the obvious names that we expect to see in top 3, top 4. But in the process of getting there, I could definitely see 1 or 2 top seeds getting blown up. It's just that stacked.
It's going to be crazy. The Capcom Pro Tour 2020 is truly underway. We will be back right here on this channel. So if you're not following, make sure you follow. Drop a subscribe if you want to get some of those really cool emotes in the chat as well. I know we all like those. We'll be back on Saturday for the pre-game show before the tournament starts, and we'll be going through in a bit more detail some of the players that we think are going to be big threats. And then, of course, right here, you're going to be able to see the top 16 in full. And then on Sunday, we're back again, and you get that full top 8 as well. It is going to be great action. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Femi, mate, it's been a pleasure. Give me the Bluetooth.
COVID-19 friendly spot, man.
Trust me. That is it for us tonight. Take care. Thank you very much to Visual Platform for putting in the graft. Big up Mature on a lot of the edits. Thank you to all the players that were happy to speak to me. We're going to give you more content each and every week. If you want to hit us up and you've got a great community event that's going on, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. You can see it below here. And if we've got the time to plug it on the show, we will definitely do that. I love shining light on the community because this is not just
universal language.
This is not just about the Pro Tour. This is about Street Fighter 5.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll be back next week, same time as well, here on Thursday every week. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you on Saturday.